All right. Well, this week we're live on both YouTube and Facebook because I figured out how to do that. With us this week, we have to my right, at least on my screen, is the Mighty Mikado, aka Ensey, aka Anonymous. How are you?
I don't need to be anonymous.
You don't need to be anonymous.
No, it's just me. Just use my name.
Oh, okay. Oh, the one that begins with another letter of the alphabet?
No, use the. Never mind.
Oh, use the one in parentheses? Okay,
Yes,
never
never
mind.
mind.
Moving on. To his right, at least on my screen, is Jeremy. How are you?
Excellent. How are you guys? We've already had this
Good.
conversation before.
Yeah, we've already had this conversation, but this is the magic of live streaming.
Yes.
Wonderful.
To his bottom is Sam, who we've already had this conversation once more, but would you like to tell our 6 concurrent viewers how you're doing?
I am doing quite well. How are you guys doing?
Amazing.
Awful.
Thank you for asking. Oh, well.
That's
Still
just how I
happens.
respond whenever I hear it.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
To his left is Cameron, located in the remote parts of Western Canada.
Yeah, populated solely by logging locomotives and lumberjacks.
Well,
And
and the Best Buy, but that's another conversation. And then finally to his left is Bobby. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. So this week was originally going to be about content creation and model railroading because we had Rapido Jeremy on, but then Bobby could make it. So, I guess we're
why
just going
did
to talk
Bobby
about
show
the same
up?
thing, but I made it a more clickbaitable title. So this isn't really an interview, but could I ask you to kind of how you got into the hobby and how you got into the industry?
What do you want to start with?
I guess you're the one who spoke up.
All right, there we go. Where did I start? I guess, typical story of train set under the Christmas tree, the old Tycho set. This is back in the, 70s and 80s. So, way before you guys were even thought of.
Yeah.
But I had my, your Santa Fe F7 unit and a bunch of crappy cars and circle the track on the floor, and it gets all the carpet fibers up in the wheels, and you ruin them, but it's just how it goes.
Another conversation.
Yeah.
Gotta be a war bond at F7.
Absolutely. And I must say, there's nothing prettier than a war bonded F unit. It's just, to this day, it's synonymous with beauty in railroading. But yeah, I didn't really get too deeply into model railroading until early 20s, I guess, and then started growing from there. And it's kind of an armchair modeler for a lot of years, and yeah, and then I somehow stumbled into this job about a year ago, and yeah, to say it's been a whirlwind year is an understatement.
Cool.
Answered a call for we're hiring, and actually I went out for initially I applied for the warehouse job, and then ended up getting the warranty repair job. And then Jason put me on videos after I did a couple for him, and here I am now. So that's what I've been doing.
Cool. And how about you, Bobby?
Well, probably my dad's got me into this back in the 90s when I was a little kid, and when we used to go rail fanning together and different things on the weekends and whatnot. And he was into model trains as well, so he wasn't just a rail fanner; he was also into the modeling part. And it just built from Y&L to eventually HO, back to, and then he passed away in 2010, so I just kept going with everything. And I graduated from school late, but right after I graduated from school, I got a job at Atlas in the R&D department and spent 5 years there. And then in 2019, I started talking to Josh and Jordan a bit more, and I kept haggling them about trying to work at Rapido. And finally, they got sick of it. They went to Jason, and they came down. They were actually measuring the turboliner, the one in over Central Jersey, the one Amtrak has over in one of the yards. And they texted me one day at work, and they said, "Do you want to go out to dinner tonight?" And I thought, "Oh wow, yeah, I probably should do that. This probably sounds important." So I called out of work a half day. Actually, that really did happen. I was really tired from the night before. So I said to myself, I'm either going to fall asleep when I get home and miss it, or I better go home and sleep for a little while. So Easter egg there. Maybe, hopefully nobody's listening from Atlas, but I actually went home early, took a nap, and the rest is history. Because then at Springfield show, Jason and I interviewed, and then, believe it or not, at a train show. But at that point, it was kind of hard because I really wasn't going to be flying up to Canada for just one interview. So it made it a lot easier to meet halfway, and the rest is history. So I started at Rapido in the R&D department, but then maybe about 6-7 months in, I realized that there was an opening for like the PR, the print media side of the PR department at Rapido, and I write all the newsletters, I do all the print media ads, and I still do a little bit of R&D type stuff. In fact, I'm working with Jordan on the B100 boxcar project and the F40s right now. But yeah, so the rest is history from there. Right now, I do all the print media type stuff at Rapido.
Cool. So one thing I've always wondered about research and development is, do you guys do the CAD work in the States, or is it kind of done at the engineering department at the factory?
It's a mixture of both. It depends. It depends on who can do what with 3D programs. So
is it on the job description, the skill?
It can. It doesn't have to be. So, for example, let's say there was an opening right now. If you applied to it, you wouldn't necessarily need to do 3D type stuff, but if you could do it, it's a plus, but it's not fully necessary. We do have a few people that can do it. But when I was at Atlas, a lot of it was done like many companies overseas, and here we do some with that too. And it's a mixture of both, and it's just different dynamics of how each company was and worked. And right now, we have a few people. Like I said, we have a few people that can do that, and from the most part, it's back and forth. So it does help though when you have someone who knows how to do the programs, because in case something gets screwy, you can have him take a look at something too. So because with the language barrier, things are a lot more difficult because sometimes you have to translate the words back and forth, and
Google Translate is not really the best for that.
Yeah, you get good at using Google Translate, but beyond that, yeah, it can be a little bit tricky though.
Cool. Well, before we all hopped on tonight, I gave our group chat a briefing that we're gonna remember to be politically correct tonight, because we've said some off-topic things in the past, but
Understatement of the year.
Understatement of the year. Well, yeah, don't go on our Discord server, which we haven't plugged on this show yet, surprisingly.
Yeah.
No, we got to get that finished set up first.
We'll try to stay off the topic of ranting about Broadway Limited tonight. So
no promises.
So politically correct means lots of George Carlin jokes, right?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
I do like.
Clint here. Clint, are you moving? He's in the chat.
Is he?
Yeah, he's in the chat. Oh well.
Well, he's at least moving in the chat.
He's moving in the chat.
To be honest, R&D is interesting, but you guys really need to ask Jeremy a whole bunch more about the video creation and whatnot, because that just has a life of its own at Rapido. You guys, that's probably more interesting than R&D.
We're getting to that. So I guess, I don't know, that's a good lead-in instead of having to think of one later. So could you tell us about what you do then?
Yeah, I am basically the video guy now. It's I've somehow gone into this position in life where I've combined two life passions in video and trains in one career. It's unheard of, to be honest with you. Like, it's amazing. But yeah, it's once I was given this gig, I have all this creative freedom now to do stuff, and luckily I jive with Jason and the rest of the team in terms of the humor. Right, I can. My humor is a little bit different, I guess, more deadpan. That's what I see myself referred to on YouTube as the deadpan bald guy. But
yeah, I saw that there.
Yeah, cool. Love it. It's my shtick, I guess, but it's definitely fun, and Jason, as executive producer, gets final say in all videos, obviously. So he yays or nays them. He always yays them, but there's occasionally some little tweaks that you make to them. Yeah. But it's usually stuff like, I didn't show the key feature of a certain model, or I didn't include a certain bit of information, or Jordan forgot a line, or he got a line wrong, or I usually work with Jordan on this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. We're like him and I, at least in the Canadian office, or the PR team, and Bobby's in that on the US side, and we all sort of work together to come up with video ideas. I'm just the technical monkey who does most of the camera work, all the editing. I upload it to YouTube, and now I actually deal with a lot of the YouTube comments, which that's fun too. Some of the stuff that doesn't make the cut is not safe for work, that kind of thing. There's a few interesting things that people say out there.
Yeah, reading through that comment section, there's a lot of things that just get responded to with a thumbs up.
Yeah, but you should see what doesn't make the cut. We're actually we're putting a few of those comments aside for future use, maybe for a future video. Like it's
you're doing like a responding to comments video,
like mean tweets.
Oh
Yeah.
Seen that on Jimmy Kimmel does that, or
yeah.
A
lot of people do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're gonna do that sort of thing, because some of them are, you have people trolling you or whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
There's some inappropriate stuff that will never see the light of day, but there's stuff that will say that wasn't appropriate to put in the comments of a certain video, but it's still funny in its own right, so we can put that up. And I mean, you guys saw one of the videos I did responding to that email we got.
Yeah.
With the Stiffly Stifferson, the guy didn't like to have fun. Yeah,
Did you ever hear back from that person?
No, I don't think he watches their videos anymore. He's turned off by them, right?
Well, yeah, because he doesn't like them. So why would he? It's a waste of his time.
Yeah.
It would have been funny if you watched it though.
Oh, it would have been amazing. It's it's just that's what happens in this hobby, though, right? You get some of the really curmudgeonly kind of rivet counter types that just don't really embrace the fun side of it, and it's a hobby. It's fun. It's supposed to be a place or a thing you unwind with, and let real life be all the serious stuff, and have fun with your hobby.
Yeah. Could I ask for a second? Did my audio just get better? Because I checked, and before it was on my computer internal microphone instead of the one I have right here.
Yes, it did get better.
I'd say it's better.
Yeah.
Jesus. 2 streams ago, it was on my computer microphone the whole time instead of this. Whatever. Improvements are being made. So
it wasn't awful before.
So how do you decide what to put up on the YouTube channel? Because you've been making some different kind of stuff, and then there's the product release videos that get done, like 15 days before the order deadline.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we have our PR team meetings on every Tuesday at 4:30. And we do it's a Zoom meeting now, obviously, but we do we hash out video plans for the next few weeks. Usually it revolves around a release or a sample that we get in from the factory. Sometimes we'll do when we get a shipment in from the factory, just before they go out to the stores, we'll do a little reminder video like, hey, these are in now, and it just sort of drums up. I don't know if it leads to increased sales or anything like that, but it definitely it's all about brand awareness, right? We're just bringing attention to Rapido, and then people go, oh, okay, let's see what else they got. But yeah, and everything else we do is just kind of like a lot of stuff I do is filler material, right? Just kind of, we don't have any products right now, so let me do something stupid and we'll put it online and hopefully people laugh.
Making people laugh is always good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
what we try to do.
If Jason, if you've seen Jason's video that he just put up with his, we did the little ride by through his layout.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool.
It's at 120,000 views right now.
That
really?
Way cool.
Wow.
Neat.
Yeah. So stuff like that just came out. Well, I think he knew that would do well, and I don't think it did I think it did a lot better than he thought it would do. But it's that's been a full-time job keeping up with the comments for that one. That's had like 800 comments now, and it's just our company policy. We respond to every single comment, right? So it's just and it's good. It's engage the customers, and it creates brand not loyalty, but just
Familiarity.
familiarity. There you go.
Yeah,
that's,
that builds a personal relationship.
Yeah.
So, how do you get bored of responding to comments that say, "When are you going to make this? When are you going to make this?" Because
I was that guy.
I look through the responses to people who say, "Are you going to make this? Or are you going to make that?" And it's different every time. I'm like, if I were you, I'd just copy and paste the same response. It's like maybe at a later date.
Yeah,
No
and
comment.
I think when Jordan responds to the comments, that's where he's at right now. Is maybe at a later date.
Yeah.
But we do have that. We're getting less of those now because we have that form now that you go to our website and you can fill out your product suggestions, and we're keeping track of those. I mean, Bobby's probably more in the loop on that than I am, but it's.
I have not looked at it in about 2 or 3 weeks. So,
Have you made any suggestions yourself, though?
what's that?
Have you made any of your own suggestions?
No, Robin. If you looked at it, Robin made a few good ones. Yeah, ask Robin on Monday. They're
Okay.
not safe for here. But anyway,
Whoa. So do you keep track of who says things on the, like, if somebody says, "I want an H3A Hudson," like 5 times per day, like, can you tell it's always them, or do you just think a whole bunch of people want it?
yeah.
Like, is there a way to tell?
The way it works is when you send everything in, it sends in your email, and there's like a whole fill out form. So if you want to
So really the only way to cheese it is to have many emails.
Yeah, which at some point I'm going to do because for me, my big thing is GTW and Steam.
Yeah.
So anytime we have a live stream, if you notice, there's always a question that gets popped up there to Jordan unsuspectingly. Sometimes that's GTW and Steam because I run the questions when we do our live streams. So I like to throw in things that probably shouldn't say this out loud. But I like to throw questions in there that aren't actually asked to throw it off to see if he will actually answer them. But
It's a good test.
but actually something that is kind of funny, maybe not funny, but there is anytime there's a video with Janet in it,
Mm-hmm.
if you guys notice that the numbers go up because there's a female in it, and the hobby females, there's an imbalance there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when we really have to, well, I shouldn't say me because I've been lacking very much in responding to comments lately. But that's when a lot of the comments pop in that are you gotta hunker down on them.
Yeah.
Censorship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
We can be a creepy bunch as railroaders sometimes, right?
Yeah. It's important
That's
to keep
like-
an eye out.
That
some
is the
of them are
stigma,
funny, but,
though.
I mean, yeah, some of them are funny, but we gotta get rid of them. But
Yeah.
But yeah, no, for the most part, it's that the forum really has taken down a lot of emails and questions. I mean, you still got every time we produce something in HO or even N-Scale, you still got the same question. How come I haven't seen anything in N-Scale? We still get that same person that asks the same question, and I'm sure we're going to get it again coming up.
Time.
But yeah, no, you still get the question. I mean, but the way the form would work though is it'll pop up and it'll be because you can add a lot of info to it. You can add if you have documents for it, you can add documents. So I was on the Commonwealth Historical Society's quarterly meeting as a guest a couple of weeks ago, and I told them if you have any actual documents, drawings, technical drawings, mechanical drawings, either tell us or drop them right into the suggestion box or form. And that's another way they'll zoom you right to the top of the list is if you have information on something.
Mm.
So anybody listening here, it's something to kind of keep track of. If you got a lot of info, if it's just one of those where you have a lot of photos or something, that's good. But if you have a lot of actual technical info, that just zooms you right to the top.
So you're saying if I get everything together for a J3A Hudson, there's a chance.
Well, I mean, you're just doing the research for them at that point.
If I send you a
I
picture
remember-
of every one of them in existence,
Send a
Um,
picture of a Dreyfus because nobody wants to pay $700 for the Broadway one. We need like a mid range.
we need one
I
in-
don't know if you're gonna.
Rapido in mid-range.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be paying less than that. But
That doesn't sound
you
like
know-
Rapido at all.
because remember, all the detailers are gonna get put onto it. So
Yeah, that's true.
not before you a U3B gets made. But let's pull like that.
So
we're
you know,
waiting for a J3A.
We are.
just
Well,
so
it's,
you know.
half of
You
it's
know
already
what? The
told.
U3 actually
so, I
sounds really
mean-
good.
I mean, if the EP5 jet goes well, I might know where you guys can get some more stuff for NEC Electrics. But I'll have to talk to the club and see what happens.
You mean like an E44?
Probably.
I would,
Among
I
other
would, I would
things.
like 3 different manufacturers making the 844. I think that'd be cool.
No. E44.
Oh,
And
I
844.
misheard. I misheard.
Ensey, somebody mentioned the E44 before you. You're slipping, man.
Yes, I know. That's why I spoke up.
So, turning back to Jeremy, what do you model? Like, I know Bobby's into Steam hesitantly,
After Jeremy goes, I can say.
but okay.
Right now, not much. In one of life's great ironies, since working in the model railroad industry, I have no time for actual model railroading. But in a nutshell, I'm an N scaler.
Mm-hmm.
Have been for about 20, 24, 25 years, something like that.
I just want to throw in
Finally,
there one of
another
3 at Rapido that are N scalers. So
Yeah, but we're growing.
they're a short supply right now.
4 of us now because the new warehouse guy, Francis, he's a big N scaler.
That's
So
right,
He's
Francis.
he's going to help push the N scale agenda.
Good.
I'm very interested in S scale, so I've been dabbling in building some S scale kits, and that's a long term thing. Like way down the road, might have to. And once it becomes a little more mainstream, which with what happened with Scaletrains buying the old MTH tooling, like that's huge for the actual S scale market as opposed to like the high rail and the tin platers and the American Flyer guys. Like those guys have been sort of driving that scale for years, right? And the actual scale segment of it has been very, very, very small in terms of number of modelers, right? But I think that might, once it goes mainstream, it might go up. So who knows? But yeah, my heart's in N scale. So I'm a CN Canadian National N scale modeler is my
So sandwiching HO basically.
Yeah, I tried HO for a bit, and it's weird. It's like too big, but not big enough. You know what I mean? It's
I
like,
know exactly what you mean. That's
Yeah.
why I do N.
There you go. And N has got that. You can fit so much into a small space, whereas with S, you can really blow it up and get really into the details, and it's more of a micro-focused kind of thing, right? I don't know. HO is cool because everything's in HO, but it just didn't have the same appeal to me that N or S did. I don't know. I'm
S
weird.
is like budget G scale. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I wouldn't call it budget. S ain't cheap.
Well, for a lot of
but
things,
it is
it
a whole lot
isn't.
smaller than G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But budget O scale maybe.
Budget O scale. Yeah, we'll see.
That's what I
Yeah.
would call it.
But
Well, even O scale is kind of like not cheap, but relatively affordable. Like secondhand stuff is
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
we're at the point where like some of Broadway Limited's new stuff is nearing the price of like older O scale engines.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, that's true.
we're getting close. It's scary.
Oh, we got past it already. Believe me. The next 5 years, it'll go right past. It will. Well, it could go right past it.
Well, as people in the industry, do you think prices are going to continue to go up, or do you think it's going to kind of peak and descend a bit?
I'm a newbie, so I don't really have any sort of insight on that. Bobby probably knows a lot better than me.
I think it'll depend because it's going to depend on what the market will. I mean, for example, I'll throw one out there. My former company just announced that 5250 covered hopper.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's got a $70 price point on it. So that's
Jesus.
breaking the plane of high. So
Hmm.
I mean, it's detailed too. So I mean, that's for sure. But it's definitely pretty high. So
We're talking HO 5250.
yeah, we're talking
Oh.
HO. So,
Not O. Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
So,
That is the price of O scale rolling stock.
That's
Basically,
the price of some of the cheaper Bachmann G scale rolling stock. I mean,
but I mean, in
I don't
terms
know.
of like passenger cars, I mean, we got Comets and Horizons at 99. They flew off the shelf. So I mean,
yeah.
it just depends on where it's at. Because like for example, it's funny because it's like if you go to like a high end Overland brass of the same like an ES44, compared to say like Scaletrains or Intermountain or something like that, there still is a demand for certain OMI models at like $1,200 price tags on it, and Scaletrains is what, like almost 300, and
Yeah.
Intermountain was about 200 when they were doing them. So it's just I don't know. There's the threshold I think has not been. It all's going to depend on too of what costs are, and costs are going up and stuff, and
It's definitely become a rich man's hobby. It's
yeah.
Yeah.
You still have your AccuRails out there that provide the cost-effective kit, but like the blue box days are done, and I don't know. It's changing, that's for
Yeah.
sure. We'll see where it goes, but I really do think we could use more entry-level kind of stuff if you want to grow the hobby, right?
Yeah.
Without having to resort to the train set, cheap train set crap, right?
Yeah.
And without
At least
having
have
to
some
crawl
window
with
glazing.
Bachmann.
Yeah. I don't want to put down names necessarily, but it's.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
know
trying to
who they
keep remotely politically correct tonight,
Yeah.
so we'll see. But so, how
Hey,
do you
Bachmann
price
makes
a
some
model?
decent stuff.
Yeah, the Spectrum stuff is outstanding, especially the Steam. It's
Oh
incredible.
yeah,
I just got a Spectrum 2662.
Yeah.
That thing is beautiful.
They're amazing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Bachmann
scale detail. in
Squale?
scale. It's
What?
squirrel.
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 I mean,
I was turning around when I said that.
some of the European
While I talk
China
about it.
offerings on Steam for Bachmann's really good too. If you think about it, I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah.
phenomenal.
European Bachmann, I'd say, is like a lot better than,
almost a
comparably
different-
a lot better than American Bachmann. Just some of the
Yeah.
detail they have on their steam locomotives and the amount of different tooling they have is pretty cool.
Like the Bachmann QJs, it's like, why
Yeah.
didn't we get something that cool? Like, why
Yeah.
didn't we get that? Like,
They
have to import it.
really is nice, yeah, and the SY too. I mean, they really did a nice job.
oh
with
yeah.
those.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, importing. I wouldn't want to have to do that.
It's like you got to pay $600 for the engine and then like ridiculous amounts for shipping, and it's just like I want two of them. So
And then in my case, another $50 for imports. Thank you.
Yep. I feel that pain. Luckily, we have, when I buy stuff now from the States, I send them to our product designer Bill in the US, and then he'll send it up with all the other stuff that Jason orders.
That's right. I forgot about that.
$5 to ship something within the US, 35 to ship it to Canada. It's insane.
I mean, I do the same too. So we have a product sample that has to come down here. I have something up in Canada. I'll just send it to Canada, and then Jordan will send it down.
So how do you price a model? Like we were talking about this, and I mean,
Well,
I understand there's quite a margin because of warranty support and all that stuff that goes along with that, but
it
I don't know.
just depends on. I mean, without getting too far into it, because every company has their way of doing it, but and
Yeah.
I'm sure every company doesn't want it to be out there, but the way you do it really depends on tooling costs to assembly, and you factor that all together, and there's a formula for it. And like I said, every company has their way of doing it, because some companies will want to make money back on the first run, or some companies will want to time it out through a couple of runs, and each company has their way of doing it. But it's all factored usually in with tooling costs, assembly time, materials, stuff like that. So
Okay.
it's probably the safe way of saying it. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Politically correct. Sticking to it. Some people just like to price their models by choosing the nearest 100 that's above the last run they did.
I haven't been in any of those companies that did that, so thankfully that's been good. But it is very interesting how it's done, and I think that's one of the big misconceptions in the hobby that a lot of people, like a lot of the hobbyists don't, like they'll see like a high price and they're like, oh man, they're raising prices again. And a lot of that's, coincides with what's going on overseas and the way things are out, because it just depends on, materials, assembly, all that type of stuff. So if it raises up again, it's usually because of something being raised up on the other side too. So it's not one of those where, it's not one of those where you go to the grocery store and there's a hurricane coming and you get gouged out of it. But it's definitely a formula.
And it's funny, we get those emails like almost weekly where you guys need to bring manufacturing from China back to. First of all, they think we're in the U.S. for some reason, right? Whatever. You got to bring the product back to America, and like, okay, we can do that, but you're going to be paying brass prices for plastic locomotives. And are you going to pay $1,200 for a FP9? Like, are you?
And then you're going to get emails the next week from the same people complaining about the prices.
Too expensive.
Well, we get those emails too. Like, you're pricing us out of the hobby. You're greedy. You're this, you're that. I'm like, well, no, we're employing a lot of people now. We're cranking out so many more products as time goes on. Like, it's amazing. Even since I started, that's like a year and a change ago. Like, how much more product we're releasing on a monthly basis it's astounding. I've never seen this kind of volume.
Yeah,
especially from Rapido as an outsider. Before, Rapido was always, to me, every few months a new model would come out and it was a big deal. But now it's a whole bunch of new models and it's all like we're growing like crazy.
Exactly.
So
yeah, and I never thought your prices were that like extreme.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think Rapido prices, especially considering what you get.
Well, yeah,
if you're looking for like the F7s and stuff like that, like that you guys have in the unique paint schemes. I was looking at it, I was like, that's like gonna be a lot better than other companies. I'm being careful here. It's gonna be a lot better than other companies, and it's it's still affordable, and you got 2 powered units, and so, and same with like the Royal Hudson, because like I thought that's a lot.
What?
I was like,
you got him started now.
Okay, but like the Royal Hudson, I was like, I thought it was like that's a lot for like a Hudson, and then I listened to it and I saw everything, and it's like, take my PIN number now. Like, if you want it, I'll give it to you after the stream. Like,
but I mean, I think the big thing too is I think one of the things that gets lost in that, and maybe it's not not thought of, is when it comes to comparing prices too from like company to company, unless it's an exact copy. Like, for example, the Atlas auto rack and the Scaletrains auto rack, they are virtually the same car, but each company has a different perspective spun on it. So like the Atlas car has some things that the Scaletrains car doesn't have, and vice versa. And it's hard to price point something, like compare something, unless it's an exact carbon copy. And even then, there might be different nuances to it. And like if you saw like the amount of people that actually do work on it on the line, it's not as small as I think a lot of people think it might be, because there still are a good number of people working on the line as it goes down. Like, you got some of the spray, you got someone working on the tooling part, or the molding part, you got people applying detail and people testing, and there's just a lot of factors factored into it. And I think, like I said, try to like price point something, there might be more detail on one than the other, and unless there's something really wacky where it's the better detail is less expensive, unless something's really kind of screwy like that that's going on, it's just really impossible to price compare, because it's just the market's just so diverse when it comes to stuff like that.
I am amazed at what Microtrains is able to do, though, just keeping everything in house and one location in the States. Like, and their prices they're higher, but they're not outrageous, right? Like, it's quality product. It's fairly accurate for the most part, and it's well put together. Like, and you're paying a slight premium over other N-scale stuff, but not too much.
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought of something that we can talk about if you guys want to. We can just pretend it didn't happen if this isn't good. But
Let's go.
So the
is Clint in your ear?
No. Clint, they're onto you. Get out. So the You were talking about the new diesel coming out from Motown Hobbies, is their name?
Oh yeah,
Right?
the 3D printing.
That. So what they're doing is basically they have 3D printed a custom shell. Like they have made a shell for this locomotive that's never been made in HO, like ever.
Yeah.
And they're using like Athern's guts. But they're using like Athern's like frame and Athern motors, and then they're using Loc Sound to a Loc Sound decoder. So do you guys think, being in the hobby, do you think that using other like bigger manufacturers like bones to ensure that it's a good product and to keep the price down, do you think that's going to be something that's going to become more popular just to move the hobby forward, as in new molds and like along with 3D printing and stuff like that? Do you think like that's going to be something big in the future, or is this just going to kind of be this one company?
I think it's important to mention they're only running 50
That's
units.
yeah,
I mean,
that's the other
come
thing.
on. Yeah, I wish they would make more because I think it's going to be popular.
It might be like an $1,000 model though. I don't think it
I
will
would
be,
believe that. I mean,
but it would kind of make
so many
sense.
people want it and they only have 50. I would get that.
Yeah.
So they're selling the whole shell like totally intact?
All the components except the chassis are 3D printed.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, you look at a company like Caslo that does all those kits that are designed for specific chassis, whether it's an Atlas chassis or an Athearn chassis. So their stuff isn't 3D printed, I don't think, but it's I think it's resin, but it's same sort of similar concept, right?
I think there's a bunch of people on places like Shapeways with drop-on body shells. I know there's
hundreds of them on there.
There's a couple guys at my NEC group that were buying E44 bodies that just drop right onto Bachmann E33 chassis and just keep on going. And we had a guy in our group that was making Silverliners and such that dropped onto Walther's Proto Metroliner drivetrains.
Yeah, definitely market. Yeah. It's a maybe more cost-effective way to get the model you want, right?
Yeah.
If no one's making it,
as prices start to rise. Yeah.
Yeah. But
cost effective, we say, is now Metroliners are skyrocketing in price.
I was gonna say, I think the one thing though to look at is, I think you'll have more pop-up type stuff. So as 3D printing gets better and you can get rid of the lines and stuff, I think you'll see a lot more aftermarket add-on type stuff over maybe. I mean, I think Tom's doing a really phenomenal job with the GP9 Rs, the GT ones. I think the problem though will be limitation though, because he's probably going to custom build them. So you only have so much time to custom build. In fact, I'm waiting on a slot to get him to do work for me. So that's how I kind of know a little bit, maybe not much, but that's the thing. It's only going to be so fast as how one person can work on something like that.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I can't think of his name. The guy from North Carolina, the NS modeler. I know him and I can't even think of his name. So
NS his YouTube channel's NS Modeler.
Yeah, I know him and I can't even think of his name. That's pathetic.
Whatever.
But
sorry.
He did the run of the of high-Q pulpwood cars, and he was building them. And I think from the way it sounded like he just ran out of time to do it, so then someone else took it on. But again, it's all limitation on time. So
yeah,
I think you'll see more pop-up type stuff. In fact, I think you might even see more pop-up companies, depending on how deep pockets people have. But to get full-fledged, maybe like us or an Atlas or an Athearn, I'm not quite sure that would happen just yet. But I think give it time, a small company could definitely become a big company.
Yeah,
it was a good example of a small company getting a lot bigger. So,
and it really goes to show you, like Lionel Strang's always saying, the hobby's growing, and we don't even know how fast it's growing or what the potential of it is, because the more manufacturers that pop up, the pie gets bigger as you mix it up, right? Because you get people that maybe were holding off on the hobby because we weren't producing something they did, and then somebody comes in and we're doing this now. Oh, wait, I'm going to be a model railroader now. That's what I've always dreamed of doing, is getting that particular locomotive or whatever, and it brings someone else into the hobby, right? So I think there's plenty of room for all these little pop-ups to happen and bring people stuff that maybe they weren't willing to scratch build or weren't at that point yet, right? So I think it's perfect. I think it's with the internet and with 3D printing and just with e-commerce, like it's never been a better time for the hobby. And with the past year, and situation over the past year, it's been growing as well, right?
E-commerce and publishing, it's led to more like publicity for all these companies. Like,
yeah.
I've always wondered, like when a product is in like a magazine, like Model Railroad News, like is that like an exciting thing for a manufacturer, or is it kind of like just like every day?
Well, Bobby does the ads up, so it's his ads that get in. That's gotta be exciting for him. Hey, that's
for somebody who goes through all the R&D to create something, and it's a whole year-long plus process. Like, is that something exciting, or is it just kind of there?
I mean, I think it depends on too. My hair's all screwed up, so yeah, that's great. I forgot.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, now I got my hair going all a different direction. Oh yeah, thanks, Jeremy.
I had hair. I fired it.
Yeah, my are off. But
I said you can't quit. You're fired.
But there we go. I think the thing though too is it depends on what it is, but for sure. I mean, I know Jason really likes when a lot of the models pop up in like a review, or a lot of times a magazine will or a publication will ask us to review something, so we'll gather a whole bunch of models and send it off to them, and sometimes even that's kind of fun. Because Jeremy, when you were in warranty, Jordan was constantly asking me things here and there. Or is this okay to send? So, or he would build it, or get the warranty guys to put a motor into something, and get the thing out. But yeah, it's good coverage a lot. So as long as the magazine doesn't tear it apart, it's always good coverage. And even if it tears it apart, I mean, you take the good with the bad. So
yeah, you're not going to please everyone, and sometimes somebody makes a dud. It just happens, right?
Yeah, it's always good coverage. I mean, I think to me probably one of the most exciting parts is seeing someone who has a layout who wants to review something. So, for example, Dave Abelise is a Conroe modeler. Yeah, he's actually, when I'm at my normal house, he's about 45 minutes away, and he's got a Conroe Chicago line layout set in the 90s and fully scenic. Then we got an open invitation to run anything there, anytime. And that to me is up there, like Railview, up there, across the street from the office, no less. It's always neat seeing like a model layout.
Yeah, and I've been reaching out to established, they'll call them famous model railroaders to try and feature our product on their layouts as well. I won't name names right now because I want to keep them a surprise. But
Rod Stewart, what?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be neat.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get an interview with him. If I get a hold of him, I'll send you his stuff.
Oh wow, that'd be so cool. Didn't he move back to England?
His layout's in a intermodal shipping crate right now.
It is all packed up. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Well,
maybe he'll pay for your plane ticket.
If any of y'all would like to run trains on my layout, that works halfway. I'm kidding. You don't.
Hey, at least you have a layout. I don't have anything.
Yeah, I don't have anything right now either.
Unitrack.
Same here.
I don't have anything. When I like.
Drew, you have more of a layout than I do.
What? No, I have a 4. You had a 25 by like 8-foot layout.
That layout came out for that show. That show was the last time that layout came out. It's not even in my house anymore.
But you had it, and you chose to get rid of it. So I mean,
yes,
you had one.
Because it was terrible.
That's your own fault.
Any of my goods? No, it was not. I blame my father. He's the one who built it.
You do know that Phil Collins is into modeling too, right?
Who?
Really?
Wait, seriously?
Phil Collins?
Yeah, he actually went to the hobby shop. Right, that's literally right down the road from me.
I didn't know that.
a few times. Yeah, back in the mid 2000s, he showed up twice at the Mall Railroad Shop in Piscataway, and of course I missed him by 10 minutes both times. But then he actually placed an order. He was going to send it to England, I think it was, or something, and they had it sent to someone else to forward it to England, so it wouldn't be so expensive. But
Yeah.
he's
money's
been there a few times.
It's always the British people.
Yeah, and the guy that played Indigo Montoya in The Princess Bride,
Mandy Patinkin.
is
Patkin. I can't say his name.
Petkin.
yeah, he's a modeler too.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
more
for
into
real?
he's into the 3-rail, I think, though.
Yeah, he does
Oh.
3-wheel.
That doesn't
I saw it in an I Love Toy Trains video when I was like 8, and I've always remembered it.
Yeah. Neil Young.
Yeah, Neil Young. Actually,
I gotta write these names down. I need to start getting interviews with people.
Neil
Neil
Young
Failing
had a
to.
song
Like,
about the
Neil Young
Southern
created the early version of, what was it, TMCC or something like that, I think it was. He created some type of products for them because he used to talk to one of the hobby shops, the train station up in Mountain Lakes, New Jersey, because they deal a lot in Lionel and they had like a direct connection with them.
Yeah.
And I remember one day we knew the guy really well who used to work there, and this is when I was really little. My dad and I went in, and the guy was on the phone, puts the phone down after he's done. He's like, "No, that was Neil Young," and I was a little kid. I was like, "Oh, really?" Like, and
Yeah.
of course, he never, he obviously wasn't going to show up. But I was just, amazed that it was so close to somebody that's so big, and
Yeah.
but
I didn't.
there's a lot of pretty big people. Michael Gross, for
Yeah.
anyone who remembers him from way back. Trying to think who else. I can't think of it. There's quite a few people into it.
The thing is where and I myself did this for the longest time is you keep it closeted. It's such a,
Yeah.
it's almost a stigma. Well, you're into trains. What are you?
Yeah.
Something wrong with you? Which is amazing that you guys are all like under 30 for the most part that
Oh.
picking up this hobby.
I'm actually over 30.
Well, there you go.
If you couldn't tell.
But you're basically in the millennial bracket and under. It's cool. I'm an older guy. I'm a Gen Xer, so it's I grew up with the hobby, whereas you guys didn't typically grow up with this hobby, right? It's that you found it is really cool.
Well,
I had to
somebody
force
else
my way
who is
into
over
it.
30 has just entered the waiting room. They were texting and driving in the chat a couple minutes ago, but we finally have Clint here.
Finally.
Yay.
Here.
So we're
Yeah.
here.
Rapido, what's going on here
Before
today?
you
What
open
is-
your mouth,
what is
your
this?
mouth, we are only doing politically correct ranting.
Then
tonight,
you have the
okay?
wrong. You
Yeah,
should have
just
never
kick him
brought
out.
me into this
Just kick him out.
broadcast.
What do you say? You say
Listen, I would-
Broadway Limited is
Trash. No, I'm just
great
joking.
100% of the time.
Wow.
Broadway Limited is
Just
my
set him up
favorite.
like that.
All right, no, but seriously, I'm great to be here, Drew. Thanks for having me back, Doug. I'll take all the heat tonight. Don't worry about it. I'll be the villain. Anyway, I didn't mean to intrude in the middle of your conversation, but I heard someone
It was a
talking
good
about.
lead-in because we were talking about 30-year-olds, and you're 30,
I'm not,
right?
I'm not even close, bro. Well, I mean, I'm well.
32,
Closer than
28.
all of
You're
us.
like 2
Yes.
years off.
Listen,
I remember.
Drew, one day, if you're blessed enough, you'll live to be even 26. I've got 10 years on you, sir, and maybe you'll have a wall of Adtherin as well. Anyway,
We're not even going to talk about that.
Experience.
anyway, were you guys talking about Rod Stewart? Did I hear that?
Yeah.
We're
Rod
talking
Stewart,
about
yeah.
celebrities in model railroading.
Oh, isn't
So-
Elton John in it too?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, I thought he was. I
Wait,
thought
wait,
I saw
wait,
something.
Is that who I was thinking about?
Wait, hang on,
I was
time out.
thinking
Ro-
about someone else who has like a huge layout.
Hang on, time out. Rod Stewart was the one that worked with Lionel, correct?
Don't.
That was probably Neil Young.
Neil Young, that's right. So Neil Young's son was like mentally disabled. And what I remember what he had done was he had designed basically, like you were saying, Bobby, I think you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
He had designed the foundation for Trainmaster Command and Control. So it was kind of before DCC became as big as it was. They came out. My understanding was they came out with train master command control, but his son was able to control the trains from his wheelchair, and that was the basis for how TMCC came about. And then from there, of course, they added more and more onto it. They they figured out they could add the sounds and everything, and then Legacy about 20 years later was made. But anyway, that was kind of the base. I wanted to throw my 2 cents on that since I was listening to it on the way here.
Speaking
I
of
have
Neil,
a big list of model railroaders like in front of me that are.
Oh, there you go. Bring it on.
Oh, I can
All right.
read
I
it
got
off.
Johnny Cash. Johnny
Yep.
Cash was the.
Wow.
Johnny Cash was into trains for
We
sure.
have Phil Collins. Of course, we mentioned him. Roger Daltrey, lead singer from The Who.
All right.
You know who that is?
Think I knew that.
From The Who.
Who?
Who?
Who? Who's on first?
Oh my God.
I'm
I
not
haven't
asking
seen that
you
in,
who's
like,
on first.
a while.
I'm asking you who's on second.
No, what is? Okay, we're gonna stop this before
Stay
they get
focused.
too far.
I'm just
Okay,
tuning you
okay,
guys
okay,
out at
okay.
this point.
Walt Disney. Well, he was into live.
He doesn't
was into
count. We're
live
not even
stream.
gonna. He's like the
Well, didn't he
Dreyfus
build a
Hudson.
whole
We can't even
railroad?
talk about it.
Wait. What do you mean Walt Disney doesn't count? The man literally had a train running through his backyard.
Well, it's
It
it's like the
doesn't count?
Dreyfus Hudson. Okay, it's just overused. You know.
He's the god of model
He's the
railroading.
godfather of model railroading. Walt Disney was like,
he model railroaded with actual trains.
like
He
have you
did.
been to
That's
Disneyland?
He does have an actual train there.
Like, I'm sorry, but I think
That
Walt
does-
Disney definitely qualifies.
Gives him some extra points. Okay. Well,
Tom Hanks, David Hasselhoff.
Tom Hanks is a
I've
model
heard of
railroader?
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, he's from Knight Rider. Elton John, Michael
No,
Jordan.
I mean I've heard of him being into model
Stop.
trains. He's like
Stop.
Southern
Stop.
Pacific is his thing,
Stop.
isn't it?
Time
Hold
out.
on.
When
I-
Michael
wait, hold
Jordan's into model
Michael
train?
Jordan?
Uh,
It says
whoa.
it said rumored to be a model railroader. There's a Cincinnati
count.
Rumored.
Cincinnati train collector named Michael Jordan, but is he?
I
the
could
Michael
rumor
Jordan?
that Clint was texting while driving earlier,
You
but
can
you know,
you cannot confirm that?
I can't, but I can rumor it. So
Okay. Well, that
Uh,
doesn't.
Or you can
I'm not-
text
I'm-
with your voice, right?
Click it.
Wait, what did you say, Jeremy?
You can text with your voice. You can,
You
Oh, that's
text
true.
in.
You can do that, Drew.
Voice to text.
uh-huh.
You know?
Hey Siri.
Oh, Frank Sinatra.
Hey, Drew. Hey, Siri, tell Drew
I knew
that he's
Frank's
trash. Thank you. Oh man. Anyway, is there any more on that list?
Yeah, Frank Sinatra, Lionel Richie. Go figure.
Um,
Go to
Bruce-
Wikipedia.
Bruce Springsteen, Tom Snyder,
Tom Snyder was super
Patrick
into
Stewart, Rod Stewart, Neil
Tom
Young.
Stewart was the guy I was thinking about earlier.
Tom
by the
Snyder
way. He
was
has a
really
huge
interesting.
model of New York.
Yeah.
Tom Snyder was really interesting with his approach to his layout because he never liked the idea of walk around train control. He always wanted to just sit down and like watch the trains come and go because he said it was unrealistic to be able to walk around with your train. But I was always like, well, if you're driving the train, you would be with the train. So I'm just saying, like that would make sense. Anyway, but
Oh, Sam Posey, race car driver.
never heard of him.
Like Posey straight or Posse.
Well,
Like, he's like a great racing driver. He's good.
So real quick, since we have the wonderful opportunity to have two representatives from Rapido here, I had a couple questions I wanted to.
Questions? What?
Yeah, I had a couple
Are
questions
those
I wanted to
allowed?
throw your way. So
Those aren't allowed. What?
What's all the questions?
28-16 when?
So recently, I've had the privilege to view some of your folks' fantastic YouTube videos, but not just that. Also, some of your products. I don't know why, but for some reason, you folks hadn't been on my radar. Probably because you haven't made a steam engine. So that's probably. I mean, except the one. Except
Well,
the one.
you know, don't.
At any rate,
Don't even.
I had the Hudson
Drew-
next to me. I can.
Drew, relax.
I'm
relax.
shaking. I'm
It's
really
gonna take
shaking right
Christopher,
now.
relax.
Chill.
Okay, just quietly show it off in front of the camera and don't say anything.
Okay. I'll be
Get it
back
out of
in
your
2
system.
seconds.
Oh my God. Anyway, what I wanted to say first is that I was very impressed by the overall sound design you folks have with all of your logo, like all of them, like the
Very
sounds
impressed.
that come
Like the Royal
from.
Hudson?
with every engine. I forgot what diesel I was looking at the other day, but it was just absolutely amazing. I'm like, wow, I want to buy a diesel now because I don't normally do that, and it just sounds crazy. But I found out you folks, so in all your products, the sound files are custom. Is that correct?
Yeah, as far as I know, we head out to the field and record them on the actual unit. And
now, whether we use that sound file or not, go record the
hey, that was it was a fun day for you. It was a fun 2 days for you.
So first question, who goes out and records the sound? Is there like a specific team that just does that?
It's usually is it ESU that does it now, or the whoever the manufacturer is.
Well, when it's ESU, yeah, ESU will go out, and usually 1 or 2 people from Rapido will go out, and it'll usually be we haven't done anything really since the pandemic has really started, but normally it'll be 2 people that go out because 1 person will hold the camera, 1 person will talk, and then they'll switch off. So, for example, like the 3D scan, at the PA, they had Bill and Jordan, and it'll be vice versa. 1 holds the camera, 1 talks, 1 talks, 1 holds the camera. And then maybe they'll help the sound team. So I went out for TC. I'll quickly get into this because I'm not for sure. Hudson Cam. Oh boy. By the way, just for the record, I rewatched that podcast you guys did 2 weeks ago on the Hudson, so I know the grief you were giving Drew on it, which I thought was hilarious. But
we give Drew grief all the time. That's
I just want to say this real quick too. I hope y'all know that it's all love here. Like, we love all the manufacturers and we love everybody that takes the time to talk to us. So we're all model railroaders here. It's all love, always.
Even with
make sure that
competitors, they're just other manufacturers. We're all
just other friends of yours that make trains that are different from yours, right? Exactly.
Yes.
See that? Now we're getting somewhere.
They're just rivals. That's all they are.
let me
just some fun competition.
Yeah.
Let me take the gloves off for a second and say, if I was just a hobbyist on tonight, I could have a lot more fun, but I gotta clam up a little bit here and there. So
I understand. Bobby have to be politically correct. You guys don't.
See, that's what I'm here for. Okay, I'm the unpolitically correct guy. All of you guys, it's fine. Just stay reserved. I'll say everything you're thinking of, but can't say. It's fine. I got it.
Take one for the team.
Unless it's positive and about Rapido, in which case it's fine.
No. But see, this is the apparently what did you name this? Were the Rapido boys or some
what
mess like that?
Excuse me.
Rapido gang.
Oh, Rapido-ageddon. You did not.
No. It said Rapido. It said Rapido-ageddon, and then you said the Rapido Crew as the subtitle, I believe.
Oh, I said with the Rapido Crew, as in people from Rapido.
Okay, because see, I didn't see. I thought we were just going to be on, and I didn't know that you were bringing 2 people from Rapido on.
No, that was.
Now it makes.
Did you not read
I thought you were I thought
people from Rapido were coming.
Drew, I thought you were rebranding the group. I'm like, wow, we're the Rapido Crew now. Really, Drew? This is what we're doing this week? Okay,
I was wondering why you were so silent.
Leave it to Rapido.
Did you actually think I was renaming the whole thing to be about Rapido?
Yes.
That's why he was
you guys. When we put it, time out. When we put it past Drew to do something like that, really?
He's Rapido man.
I had no idea.
No, I wouldn't put it past.
Honestly, if you're gonna talk Rapido all night, I get bored too. So
yes.
Thanks, Drew. Representative from Rapido.
See, Drew, there are other companies other than Rapido. Okay,
according to Rapido themselves.
Confirmed. So, but we got way off track. So Bobby was explaining sounds and how it's recorded. So I apologize for going on a tirade there, but
I'll explain what I did over the summer last year. And it's similar because I've done. Oh, actually, you know what? No, I can do both. I've done both Rapido and TCS and ESU. But when I did the ESU recording, that was for Atlas when we did the ALP 45 DP, the engine. It's both companies have a different approach of doing it. So TCS, they like to put a whole bunch of microphones everywhere. I think ESU does the same thing too. So I can't really compare that part. Yeah. And the only disappointing part was on the Ensey transit locomotive, we really couldn't move it because it was in the shop, so it was really impossible to get it to move. So that was a kind of a pitfall of the whole thing. But on the M420, we had pretty much the run of the railroad we were on that day, which was out in northwestern PA.
Wow.
And we were able to get, I think, 8 cars, 6 or 8 cars, and they were all loaded too, and bring them down the length of their line, which is about 15, 16 miles, reverse back, get sounds, at some point stop, notch it out to notch 8, stuff like that. And you just go through, it just depends on, you just go through the different notches. So like 1 to 3, 1 to 7, 1 to 8, 8 to 3, stuff like that. Traction motor squeal. The problem with the traction motor is unless you can get going fast enough, it's really hard to process something like that. And for steam, I've never actually done anything, but I have. So I really couldn't say much other than I know they just go to town putting microphones and stuff everywhere. So
do you have like a list of sound? I'm sure you probably have something like this, but do you have like a list of sounds that you have to have that you like? We need this. We need like this prime mover. Of course, you need the 8 notches. You need the horn. Like, are there certain particular sounds that you're trying to get outside of course, what you would first think of? Like, is there like a big list of things that you want to grab when you go out and record the sounds?
The minute things like door slam, because nowadays, they're adding more and more sounds into it. Well, startup, that's a good one too. So if it's an air start, you want to get the air starter. I guess if the engine has an electric start, it depends. I mean, like an Alcos, I know they have the different type of starters, but air start or just general startup sequence shutdown, bell, just anything you could think of. Blower, certain things, radiator. I'm trying to think. There was the air dryer. So that was one of the problems. We had to turn the air dryer off because it kept spitting. So you get that spitting sound. Just generally anything on the L45, because it's a dual mode. You can get excuse me, the electric and the diesel part. So you get the conversion, then the conversion back. Antigraph when it goes up, and you can hear the carbon strip hit the wire, and then the spark that comes out of it.
Wow.
Like a split second. Just random things here and there, and I think something that actually I think most people don't know is on the L45, they have 2 Caterpillar motors, but they both don't start at the same time. So one will always start quicker than the other one, and they put that in there. You'd hear one start and then another one start a couple seconds later.
Oh wow. Okay. So let me ask you this question. And I don't know if you're gonna be able to answer this, but why did you folks choose ESU over any of the other decoders that are out there? Is it because it was easier to program custom sounds into it, or what was the main basis for going with ESU for the sound for your locomotives?
You're allowed to pass. You're allowed to pass.
you can't answer that.
Well, I think it just depends, because I mean, at Atlas there at ESU, Athearn has Tsunami still, Scaletrains has ESU. I think it just depends on generally what people use, what people want to see. There's always this big argument between Tsunami, ESU, and TCS, and so for you guys know for sure for Steam, I have yet to really pick out one that I want to use, but I think for Steam though,
yes,
it's
ESU for me is what Steam and ESU.
Let me call
for me is the best.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Here's the thing with the argument between TCS and ESU.
Oh, I like this already.
The thing I'd say though is that ESU still has a bunch of sounds that they're probably still working on or have to record for Steam, because I will say when they start, 765, if a file for 765 pops up, I definitely want to go back to ESU for that. It's just going to depend. I think it all depends on what you have. So everything I have for diesels, ESU. I have a charger. I don't know why I have it. there's really no reason I need to have it. That obviously has TCS. I don't mind the way it sounds, but it's just so impossible to work on because everything I have is ESU, and I really like the Loc programmer to program stuff and fiddle with
Right.
stuff. But TCS is neat because you can also poke with stuff and rod clank and all this random stuff that it's a different beast on two different levels. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Right.
I feel like
Go ahead,
TCS definitely has the biggest library of sounds and factory stuff that you can get right on the decoder is definitely the best out there. But I feel like ESU, when I pay somebody, like, because you can order a decoder from somebody who has like an online store where they program it for you. I feel like that's some of the best stuff when you have somebody with their own set of recordings.
Here's the thing, and let me throw my 2 cents in there. ESU is interesting because every time it's weird. Every time I hear an ESU decoder for Steam specifically, right? Well, actually, even for Diesel, because I have a couple Diesel ESU decoders. But every time I hear an ESU decoder, it's like it's an entirely different decoder in a good way. Generally speaking, the sound quality that for me, the models that I have is phenomenal. But it's like, let me give you an example. So the Cab 4, the Intermountain Cab 4, right, has a specific set of sound files which are really good. Yeah. But then I listen to your folks' Hudson, and it's like I don't know how you did it, but you just like took what was possible on that decoder and just blew my mind. Like the fact that there's so many different whistle signatures on that decoder for each whistle, and it's almost like you can truly play with the whistle. Like from what Drew was explaining to me, like there's different paths you can take depending on how you hit the whistle button, and it's different for each whistle. Like it's amazing. So if you're gonna continue to do things like that, and that's only possible through ESU, I think I would prefer ESU over a TCS, even though I really like TCS for their Steam sounds. They've got one of the best sound libraries that I've heard for Steam. But with it seems like ESU is so, I guess for the best word I can think of is malleable. So you can really customize that decoder to get it to do what you want it to do, which is why I think a lot of manufacturers were kind of going with it. But you can really like play with the sounds in that decoder and get it to like sound truly unique for what you want your train to sound like. So I think it's an interesting debate. But in my opinion, between ESU and TCS, those are my 2 favorite in terms of Steam. So either one would be good.
To be fair, spending 2 full days with the TCS crew, they were great to work with. But knowing Matt and the whole crew at ESU for many years, I can't go. I can't say anything bad about ESU. And I really, to me, ESU is my go-to decoder for generally everything. So
there's a video of Bobby with the TCS crew recording the M420 if you guys want to check it out on the Rapido channel.
Ooh, yeah. Shameless plug.
It goes through all the nitty-gritty of how they got the sounds.
I feel like if we had TCS sounds and an ESU decoder, that would be like if they merged.
No, here's the thing. I like variety in the hobby. I like different sound decoders because if you've got a big railroad and you've got a bunch of engines, I don't want them to all sound the same. Exactly. The more variety you have, there's a place for Tsunami, there's a place for TCS, there's a place for ESU, there's a place for Broadway Limited sounds, there's a place for everything. Mm-hmm. But it's just like I said, from what I saw from that Royal Hudson, it really impressed me. Yeah. The way you folks did the sound in that, it's so different from how anyone's ever done sound in HO. Like I think keep playing with it. Keep playing with the decoder. Yeah. Play with the way that you can mess with the whistles. That's phenomenal. It's insane to me. So
I agree with CA&P Railroad in the comments. I prefer ESU for Steam, but Tsunami Diesel, I'm kind of a fan of. Tsunami too.
Tsunami Diesels are good.
I feel like it's kind of underrated.
Everybody does a good diesel. I'm just joking.
Whoa. No, you're not wrong.
All diesel decoders are made equally.
Did you show them, everybody else here, did you show them, there's a couple sounds on the Hudson that aren't Hudson sounds. Did you happen to show them anything about that?
Oh yeah, I can. Which do you want, the national
Hold on.
anthem, or would you
Hold on.
prefer
You
the
don't have to do it right now,
Hold,
but,
hold
the
on.
speech.
Do I have to go fetch my F40s? Do I need my big
Oh, the-
Kool-Aid man?
CP
Hold on,
is
I've got a train
blocking.
right here. I can fetch.
So
Feedback.
here I recorded a video with all the hidden sounds on Rapido locomotives, and I didn't post it yet. But is there anything on the RDCs, because I didn't touch them?
We're not allowed to say whether or not there are sounds that are not.
Ooh.
Oh, for
So in
real?
other
We
words,
disavow
So
their-
you're saying
words, get-
wait?
get
So
looking.
I'm gonna go through it right now because I have my layout set up on the
How
on
does
the
it sound there?
live Hudson cam. So we're gonna try to figure this out. Okay.
This is what I like. Let me say this real quick. This is also
Oh,
what I like
don't
about
want me.
them.
Hi, Drew.
Why am I full screen?
Hi, Drew. This is also what I like about Rapido. Like y'all, just like the
Okay.
fact that you got these
2
random
seconds.
sounds in there are wild. Like
well,
that.
I didn't say you
I
had
never
them.
thought
I
about
just say, did you actually play them? Because I don't know if they're on there or not. I just was curious.
Well, no, whether or not it's on that particular model, I do know that on some of the other models, you've got some hidden sounds. I didn't even know that.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. right. Allegedly. I didn't even know that allegedly. Until last week, you folks had like random sound files in the trains.
We've had emails from customers saying that they found these hidden files, and we just
We don't know how to get on there.
yeah.
Like,
That's what
who-
happens, you never know. They get on there, and then curious if everyone else has heard it.
It's a glitch.
With,
Oh my
with the
goodness.
Via F40s, I was laughing at the announcement being stuck in the middle of nowhere because of Canadian National, and then it played that hidden sound once. I was like, wait, hold on, what? Wait, this is real? And then I couldn't
it's
get
got
it
to
to
be
trigger
politically
again.
accurate, right?
I mean,
So-
my Broadway Limited S3 like played every sound that exists on the decoder at once one time.
That's,
I don't think that was meant to happen. I think that was
It sounds soothing.
it's a secret feature.
So,
that was
so real quick, I had a question for Jeremy because I want to leave Jeremy out. So, Jeremy, you handle the YouTube channel, right? And a lot of the video editing and filming, correct?
I pretty much am the video guy.
Excellent.
It's all me. Well, with a few exceptions. Jason just put up a video last week with that he did on his layout, which is it's going viral now. It's 120,000 views at this point.
Yes, I saw that one. That was
I had nothing
awesome.
to do with that one. That was all him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question to you is: so when you're making these videos for the company, like, what is your thought process? Like, what's your main goal when you're making a video for her?
You're giving me too much credit here by giving me goals and thought processes and
Look, man, I get there's some thought that goes into your videos are awesome.
I just kind of go with
Wing
it and sit in front of the camera and do my shtick there's a bit of scripting. Don't get me wrong.
It's always fun. Not that I don't want to interrupt Jeremy because you guys really need to ask him more questions because he is. But the one thing is that it's always great to sit in the PR meetings and here's a new video and it pops out and you're like, wow, and you just know it's going to be something's going to be in there that's just going to be amazing. So
That's wild.
It's you gotta love what you do, right?
You folks seem like you have a really fun work environment. Like,
Yeah.
how is it working just in general for like just at Rapido? Like, what's the work environment like?
pretend we're not live.
It's
Sam.
obviously it's different now because we're mostly at home for most of us are at home. So we only really interact on a few people are in the office and I'll go in when I have to do some filming with Jordan or Janet or Josh or Jason. A lot of J's.
Yeah, I was about to say there's a lot of J's over there.
But most of the time I'm at home doing my editing, and we're usually only talking on Zoom calls, right? So it's different. I started February last year, just before things went. So in that 6 weeks or so before all these lockdowns started happening, it was just an amazing environment. And I worked at a dead end office job for 20 years, right? I've been in the dregs of monotony and just hating what I did for a living, and it was just awful, right? And I finally got the boot from there, and yada yada. I'm here now, but it's what's the term? It's not a job if you would do it for free, and if I didn't have bills to pay, this is something I would be doing for free.
Right.
I didn't have kids to feed, I'd be.
So
yeah, it's fun.
What was I going to ask? So, what is an interview like for a model railroad company? It's like, so what's your favorite engine? And don't answer wrong because this is important. Or like, how was the interview process?
It's probably different for Bobby than it was for me. Like my interviews were with my first interview was with Janet and Mohan, our engine or what do you call it? CEO? No, Chief Operations Officer.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he is, I'm not sure.
COO.
COO, and then my second interview was with Jason directly, and it's just you walk into this building and it's like, as an outsider, as a rail enthusiast, it's like Candyland, right? You just this is like the ground zero of the most wonderful company ever. That it's. And especially for me as a Canadian, and this is.
I was gonna say, could you tell he's Canadian?
Yeah, there's not too many. I got a cat here. There's not too many Canadian model railroad companies, right? So it's pretty much the only game in town at this point. So it was just a good. It was a life-altering moment to have that interview with Jason Schron, who is. Yeah, I'm not trying to talk like a fanboy, but
what was it like?
He's famous for a reason, right? He's the guy that built up this company because he wanted specific trains that nobody else was making, right? So it was really cool,
especially here in Canada.
Exactly.
He's basically model railroad Jesus here.
It's like meeting the president.
True Rapido man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I didn't even apply to be the video guy. I didn't know that was a thing. I applied to be the warehouse manager. I got hired as a repair tech, and then I stumbled into this, and it's been what I've been doing ever since, right? So it's been unreal, absolutely unreal.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Cool. But in terms of the thought process, going back to that, it's just we base on whatever products are coming up, samples, whatever we need to promote. We build a video around it. We come up with a gag or shtick around it, and we go with it, right? And I do all most of the camera work. I do all the editing, and sometimes I'm in them, sometimes not.
Right.
Sometimes Jason films stuff and just sends me all the footage. I put it together for him, and it's stuff that he no longer has to do because he was the video guy before, right? And he's got more time for his layout.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Drusif, do you have something you'd like to show the class?
I have something I'd like to share with the
all right.
Now remember, none of this stuff is really on there. It's just appears. So.
Oh, really?
It's all in your mind.
Show. Okay, I'm trying to get it large. You know what? Whatever. So
I can't wait.
I have one of each thing I own. So second run RDC, third run RDC, F40 PH2D, M420 Royal Hudson. Are there hidden sounds on the RDCs? Because those are the ones I have never tested before.
What do you mean by hidden sound?
Drew, what are you talking about?
Why do you keep asking this?
I mean, it's already covered that.
No. Drew, we can't hear that cam, by the way.
Yeah, it's
Can you hear me talking?
Yeah, we can hear you talking, but we can't hear the train.
I'm using the same microphone. Okay.
Do you see the microphone? There it is.
Why won't it play? Oh, because it's muted.
Because there's nothing on there.
That's what we just said.
Wow, Drew. Wow. Quality content here only on.
I was thinking
Only the
F18
best.
instead of
only
F4.
on Manifest. Only the best on Manifest.
Ooh, Samuel.
Remember, this is a trick of the camera. It does not exist.
We don't need to listen to the whole thing. It's like a while.
Listen.
And then there's another random
claim.
speech, but I forgot what function it is. So,
I believe that's off of a cell phone MP3. So I mean, I don't think this is actually the model.
Ladies and gentlemen at home, Drew actually has a small speaker behind the microphone playing these sounds.
Oh, okay. I don't even know how to turn this off. Okay.
Wow.
Just takes it off.
Drops it.
On to this
Camera
one.
train.
There's other things on here.
I'm
probably pushing the camera angle down.
This might be something we need to talk at the factory about then, because it's not right.
Yeah, because you definitely didn't put those on.
No.
These are all together conveniently on the Royal Hudson. It's like a maze. You need to go around and find them. But here they're kind of put together nicely.
This is really not a good showcasing for us right now.
It's really not because I keep muting it. Oh, you know why? Because it's on address 2860. You know,
Drew, you're really not your favorite. Dude, it's your favorite company. Don't blow this. No.
I guess when we work at I guess we're all going to work at the price shopper at the end of the week.
Okay.
I better get my man to shut itself off.
I feel like I'm asking like product support questions while we're live on air.
Hey guys,
Okay.
so real quick, how do you turn the train on?
How do you mute it? How do you mute it?
So forward makes it go forward, right? I just want to be clear.
Backward makes it go backward.
You know, the way this
Remember
is
to hold the switch to prime before run.
Oh, sorry, what?
I don't even know what this is, to be honest with you.
Formula One race?
Okay. So then 24.
Okay. Who?
Oh, 22.
Who's in charge of loading the sounds over there, guys? All right. Who's what's going on? Is that popcorn? What is that?
Clapping.
It's clapping.
Clapation.
Maybe I'm just hungry. All right,
It could be this was happening while we were recording the sounds of the
Oh,
locomotive.
see, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That
It's
works.
one of the takes that you had where something like there's a mariachi band or something
Yeah.
outside walking by.
It can happen.
Okay.
It's,
Got
Mariachi
it.
bands walk by like train museums a lot. And
yeah, that happened.
Yeah. It's completely normal. Okay. So,
Oh man, another engine doesn't work. I better for tonight.
so then subject number, whatever number we're on.
Is this the Kool-Aid version?
Oh, if it's the Kool-Aid version,
has once again decided that its freight trains are more important than our passenger trains. We'll be waiting here in the middle of nowhere until all those long freight trains have passed. Thanks for your understanding. Mesdames et messieurs, nous nous excusons pour le contrat.
I didn't press anything. That just happened.
What?
It's F14, I believe.
Welcome to Digitrax.
It's not lying. It's
So what's the other one? Ensey Anonymous. What's the next one? Star Trek.
Yes, but I don't remember how to get it to trigger.
Oh, okay.
I've
So if
only
we
ever
just
Start hitting random buttons. It'll eventually figure itself out.
hit 14 twice.
Warning. Warp core collapse in 10 seconds.
There it is.
I just want to say one thing real quick before anybody talks.
That's Star Trek.
This is how you know. This is how you know Rapido is the most fun train manufacturer to work for ever.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude,
Wow.
Can we get a Manifest Live podcast custom sound file put on one of these trains one day? It has to be a steam engine, of course, but I'm just saying, this not. You know, can we come
You
and
need
just
to get
record something?
a 765 Doppler whistle. on,
It's
like,
just-
a diesel
it's just a
locomotive,
conversation.
And that's
We're
the
talking about
Manifest
Broadway
Podcast
Limited.
hidden feature.
You go to
You know,
blow the
no.
whistle and it's just Clint wheezing.
Like if you were to do that on the E8, that would be very nice in homage to us, in case
this
you were
wouldn't
to
be
that.
something you would ask us if this is something we did. That you would ask us on a live stream.
Right. So just hypothetically speaking, because we know that you don't actually do this, but just in case we
so
just walk by one day when you were recording something and it just so happened to get on the whistle sound in the background, maybe.
Whilst you were recording the E8 sounds, we were to get a big realistic sounding speaker with a 765 Doppler whistle on it. And at the end, it's Clint doing a Gordon Freeman impression. That would be a complete accident and not
You mean
show
a
up
Morgan?
on the decoder at all.
A Morgan Freeman?
Morgan?
Bro,
Morgan Freeman?
Hey guys, want to hear my
Did
Gordon
you-
Freeman impression?
Did you just fuse Gordon
I said-
Ramsay and
I
Morgan
said-
Freeman into one
I
person?
said
There it
Morgan
is.
Freeman. I didn't say Gordon Freeman.
I heard Gordon.
I heard Morgan. Okay, I'm doing my best here.
Yeah, Gordon.
I'm holding like 3 microphones
Dr.
in my
Freeman,
hand,
wait. I'll come with you.
trying to fish the F40 manual out of like my pile of random crap. Okay.
It's not in the menu. The sounds are not in the menu.
Well, I know, but I know which ones
Manual.
it's not. Like that's the hard. Okay.
Okay, because
So
there's
so
not-
could you guys tell us which functions the hidden sounds are not on the RDCs?
Drew, there are no hidden sounds. How many
Yeah,
times do we
oh,
have to
shut
tell
up.
you?
So
They don't
I've
exist.
never tried to find the hidden functions on the RDCs before. So
Just press
we're
all
just
the
gonna go
buttons,
one by
dude.
one. Okay.
Wait,
4.
time out. You've had this RDC for how long? And you haven't pressed all the buttons?
It's, everything.
It's been a while.
Wow,
It's like
Drew.
the
I
first
thought,
thing I do when I get a new train.
I thought you were a Rapido fan, Drew.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
5,
I think this is
not
like
5. 6,
actual
not 6.
Your
8.5.
title of
Seven.
being Rapido Man has
Losing
been
Not
ratings
7. 8, not 8. Oh shit! Is this the right address?
Bro, are you?
He
It sounds
says
like
it's
an R, dog. What's happening?
Oh my god! You know we're just gonna call it a wrap on this. I need to
We-
like organize myself.
We here at the Manifest podcast would like to say that Drew's inept ability to control trains is not a reflection of Rapido's actual quality. So, just
Yeah, it's on the wrong address. So
Drew's use of Digitrax is not reflected in Rapido's operation.
So feel free to send those in for repair to fix that glitch, and we'll take care of that for you.
yeah, absolutely. Warranty covered.
Yeah, totally warranty covered. We're good there.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
after
Designer
that,
products.
after that, I'll be applying to Ready because this is not going well for us.
Oh man.
Aw.
I'm glad we got the Tycho out tonight because
This is the proto
Okay.
model of the.
Okay, what I have the thing right here. What's the number? What's the number of the blue one? Because that's what it's 9918. That's what this is on. Okay, for sure.
Drew, who are you asking
991.
right
Not 9918 is the address.
now?
There we go. Digitrax. It plays random sounds without you having to press anything. That's great.
Maybe you didn't have the function press when you turn the decoder on. You know.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe if you had NCE. Oops,
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Hey, I'm with
What?
you.
so when this show replays at 11 tonight, can we strike this from the tape?
Don't worry. Drew, edit this in post, please.
I just hit the. Oh my god. Okay.
Guys, turn the lights on. Hey,
You
hey,
know-
one thing I want to say real quick while Drew's trying to figure that out. Your magic wand that you have for all your lighting effects is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I just want to throw that out there too. Like, I need to get some of those New Haven passenger cars for my i4. That, oh my god, that's so awesome. I love that.
I've triggered 3 Doppler whistles at the same time on accident, and it's
Is that a
quite
cracked
loud.
RS3?
Wait, what? I just heard a
think you'd actually do
whistle.
that.
It's the Hancock thing.
It's air whistles, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm on a wild goose chase because I made it to function 20, and I forget how many functions the RDC has, but I know it's not.
Okay, I'm gonna become that guy for a second and make a very, very strong suggestion of something that you guys should make.
All right.
Oh god.
You know we have a form for that.
Uh-oh.
I didn't realize.
I know, but since you're here, since you're
You guys have
here,
been watching me try to like go on this wild goose chase. I don't think there's any on this one. So
Just proves the point.
So
do you mean? There
since
isn't
you're
any
here
on any
and we're talking about passenger cars.
Right.
Athletes.
I need some passenger cars for that. So DM me.
No, you DM them, Sam. This is Rapido you're talking about, okay? All right, you get it together.
Goes the other way.
You know who we are.
You tell him, Jeremy, and you know what? And you better have some images with it too, if you want it done right. Okay?
I will.
right.
I will. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wait,
little
what?
Dropbox.
Just 100 pictures of his J.
I will. I will do that. I'll
You're good.
send you all the pictures of the unstreamlined J's that exist. The unstreamlined.
What's that guy's email? Okay, let's block that from all future suggestions. It's just 15 pictures of his Broadway Limited. God.
Okay, it's MTH. Excuse
Oh.
me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You chose the inferior model.
All right,
I'm
Clint.
not sorry. We
All
know
right.
better.
Just because
Honestly,
it has the same sounds as a big boy doesn't mean it is inaccurate. Okay.
listen. I actually love them both for two totally different reasons. Like I almost bought the MTH, but Broadway just they got it right. They got it
Just
right.
because, see, now you have to deal with. I'm gonna stop.
You know what?
Yeah, we better calm down
Wild
before.
goose chase to try to find the hidden functions on the RDCs, and I've come to the conclusion that there are none.
I think it's more fun watching this happen like this than actually saying what's really going on.
But yeah,
Mm.
Norfolk and Western passenger cars. Please.
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind a set of those either because I don't have any. So that would be great if you could. Put
I
that in
don't
the
want
pot.
to spend $500 for the MTH ones.
I don't want to buy them.
But I will spend $1,000 for yours.
Yes!
If you give me one of them,
That's
if
all
you give
I'm
me
gonna
one of the
say.
little magical wands. Done.
Somebody in the chat says something about making passenger cars, and I forgot to pin it. So
Yeah,
if you're that
I was
person,
gonna
we
bring
just
that up, but I
talked
couldn't
about
find. Couldn't
He said,
find it.
"Rapido don't slide in your DMs. You slide in
where was
Rapidos." Facts.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it. It was a
and
que-
then
it was a
Rapido can
question
respond with at a
directed.
later date.
So on that topic,
Go ahead,
Yes.
Ensey.
So on that topic, Pat, we've got Horizons. Is there any chance at all of Amphileets? Or not really? Since Walther's made
Never.
some decent ones.
I mean-
Well, the Walthers don't roll.
You never
Call
know.
them Amp sled.
You sound like Jordan, Bobby. Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day. Yeah, no, I mean for real. It's you never know. I mean,
It's like a magic 8-ball. Check again later.
I'm
That's
not
kinda what
in
I
these
figured,
product
but I'd throw
development
it out
meetings, but I'm sure all these ideas get bounced around.
So let me ask you folks this question. I mean, we can tell you about what we want until the cows come home, but what are some products that you folks would like to see made from your own company?
Very
Besides
good.
That's what I was gonna
modelers.
ask.
That's the hard-hitting questions right there.
Yeah.
go with
Yeah,
Jeremy.
What's your company on this one? Let's start with Jeremy.
As an end scaler, everything.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
All right, Bobby. No, I'm just joking.
Yep.
it's and that's the thing, right? We get a lot of people that why don't you just redo everything you do in HO, do it in N scale? Well, N scale is
It's not
10% of
that
the HO
simple.
market.
Right.
So 70, 80%.
Really, only
of tooling
10%?
costs. So it's 10, maybe 15% of the market.
Makes sense.
But the tooling costs are 70 to 80%. So it has to be a home run project for it to be profitable, right? And let's face it, Rapido's a business, it's a company, you're trying to make money, right? So you can't just do it out there. But as an end scaler, we get the short end of the stick. I get it. But I can say, now that I'm on the inside, there's some cool stuff coming out that I'm really looking forward to. And then I don't know
Nice.
if anyone else does them, but for me, I'm happy about what's coming out. So that's all I can say about that. And anyone else who's listening who's an end scaler, some cool stuff is down the pipeline.
You're Canadian and you're an N scaler, so if you think it's cool, then it's probably
Yeah.
going to be cool.
There you go.
Hey,
No, wait,
sounds
hang on.
sounds like
One thing
sound
real quick.
logic to me.
Do you like Steam, Jeremy?
I don't dislike Steam, but I'm a diesel guy. I've had my share of Bachmans. And
Guys, it was a pleasure talking to you. I gotta
Here,
go.
there's one question. There's one
Bye,
question.
Clint.
all
I'm
that
following
matters.
Clint.
So what do you think about what do you think about the Norfolk and Western streamlined J class? That's kind of the baseline for our group as to which category you fit into.
Wait, it
Oh,
is?
yes.
Since
the
when's
J
11?
class
Wait,
is
that's
PS4.
the baseline?
Yeah.
class
611.
is PS4.
Here.
Time out.
Here.
We have a baseline?
Hey. GS4
According to who?
4449 or J class 611. You need to like or dislike one of them. You need to make a decision.
Okay,
You know.
I'll start that
Wow.
off.
Oh, he's gonna take. Okay.
I'll start it off. Yeah, none of them.
Whoa!
Wow.
That's
going
not.
with
That's not an acceptable answer. There's no
Drew,
C.
hold me back, please. Hold me back. Mute me. No.
Hold on.
Hold on, I'm going with the. If we're gonna go with the two of them, and 765 doesn't count because it's so well liked by just about everybody.
I would agree.
With-
You're not
I'm
wrong.
going with 261. I'm going with the S3 class out there in Milwaukee because.
Woo.
Yes.
I'm sorry, out there in Minneapolis.
Sam's really happy.
Yes.
For two reasons. One, because I like it. Two, I've been in 261's cab before, and I've chased it. With two other friends that I went out there 2 years ago before they stopped running really to do all the PTT stuff to it. But we chased it out to a couple, 50 miles east of Minneapolis or west.
Mhm.
So I usually go with that because we were actually discussing it in the car one day, and we were basically saying 44, 49, 611, screw all them, let's go with something completely different, the S3 class. So, but actually, if I really want to get nitty gritty and completely ignore the question that you were asking, anything GTW, the U1Cs or the U3Bs, anything like that, that's my.
But if you had to choose,
If I had to choose, I'll choose the water tender.
that's an
Hey, I
acceptable
like that
response.
answer. I
That's
like
loud.
that answer a lot.
You know,
If I had to choose, I probably would go with 611 just because growing up,
Yeah.
at 12, 18.
you made the
Well,
right decision.
I'm
You
glad
made the right
somebody in
decision.
Rapido has
Okay.
taste.
Yeah, that is the right. 261 and 611 are the perfect answers.
Yeah.
But then, of course, we did
acceptable.
scan Doyle McCormick's PA, so I didn't do that, so I'm going to go with 611.
I appreciate that very much.
It's the only one out of the two I've actually seen because I've never seen 44, 49. So,
I'm the
Wow.
opposite. I've seen 44, 49. I haven't seen 611.
I thought you said you've never seen an operable steam
I
locomotive.
haven't seen
It
either of them.
wasn't operational when I saw it.
Oh,
No.
well,
yeah, same with me.
And
saw
I have
611
seen
in, like,
operational
2000.
locomotives. I don't know who you're talking about, but it's not me. I've steam trains literally down the road from me that are running
That would
every
be-
sure.
That would ironically be me. I haven't seen a live steam
King hasn't
locomotive.
seen any steam engine.
I know.
Right,
It's
so,
ironic, isn't it?
Hold on. Can I actually share screen on something?
Heck
yeah.
No,
You want
If
my
it's
not
a
allowed.
video, share your audio because StreamYard's quite difficult in all aspects.
There is a service
haven't
fee
had
of
any
$5 for every tab
Screen
you open.
share, yeah.
Per minute.
Wait, so
Dude, my intro and outro audio have always been not great, and I reached out to StreamYard. Like I said, here's like an unlisted video of what it like the actual file is, and here's how it played on the stream. And it clearly sounded like it was through like a phone call. And then the service department was like, "Oh, it sounds fine to me." I'm like, you know what?
Wait,
Just
so
because there's no other options.
hold on.
Yeah.
So I can share screen or I can't?
Yeah. Oh,
can.
yes,
Down
yes,
to the
right,
bottom. Share.
In the
All right, so
bottom,
you wanna
it says
see?
share.
I'm going to completely geek out this because
Do
this
it.
is so stupid.
As long as it's about 611.
This is the podcast for it. Just geek out, man. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, just go.
We're all
You've
nerds
seen
at
our
that point here.
previous. You've seen our previous stuff. We basically spent half of the show just geeking out on random things.
That's the
There you
point.
go.
This is model trains.
It's a fun
Okay.
hobby, right?
Thank you,
Yo,
Jeremy.
hobbies. Yes.
Rule
exactly.
number one.
Oh,
Oh,
is this 261?
God bless you. Oh,
Oh, that
Sir,
look at
sir, is that a Broadway Limited?
That okay? So idiot me decided to tote the model out with me to fly out there for this exact shot I had in mind to get in the cab, put it onto the brake stand, and take the photo. And so yes, I lugged around 261 the whole time I was out there. So
How'd you
That's
carry it?
With his hands?
Hey,
Well, did you
Under his
bring like
arm
the
like a
actual
football?
box, and then when you got your turn in the cab, you actually took the time? You're like,
We
maybe
were doing
5
the-
minutes to
like,
unbox
we got
this
the-
carefully, put some gloves on, no stains,
Well,
no hand oils.
So two things. I look like one of those people that we always make fun of, or I usually make fun of that do stuff like that. But second of all, we got there early enough that there was literally nobody there, and my friend and I were waiting for our friend to fly in that morning, and they're like, "You want to come up to the cab?" And I'm like,
No.
No, why? No.
Why'd you ask me that question?
Yeah, like I want to see the Givo going past right now. Sorry.
That SD70 Ace is just too
Oh, my
interesting.
God.
Give me about
That's
10
Givo.
minutes.
Yeah, the NS Givo I see out in New Jersey, leading the CP train. Forget
Dude, I
that.
just saw an SD70 Mac. Come on, bro. Where would I want to go see 261? Really?
Yeah, like,
Okay.
but no, they invited us up to the cab, and I was like, my plan is coming together, and they're like, they were like, stay as long as you want. So we spent like a good 15 to 20 minutes just sitting in the cab. A CP grain train came by, and we were just doing artsy photos in the cab for a good 20 minutes. And I was like,
awesome.
oh, I got a model. If you and so everybody started, using it as a prop, and I was like, this is so stupid, but yet so satisfying. Again, to get back to the question of
it looks cool, it's not stupid.
But again, to get back to the question of 44, 49, or 611, yeah, 611, I guess.
Oh, I didn't even know we were still on that.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought we were on to 261 now.
Oh,
so
okay.
is that a Broadway 261?
Listen,
Yes.
Is it brass?
No.
Make Adam happy.
See,
Wow.
I have the same model, so now we're best friends.
Sam, I don't think you can just decide that.
G-Force are awesome.
Oh, and I happened to watch you guys, like I said, I happened to watch the one, I think 2 weeks ago or a week ago when you were showing off the 261. So the whistle thing you were talking about, it carries two whistles, and it obviously has the A. Well, the thing with the horn was they used to carry an S25 horn, a Leslie S25. So it's part of like the RS3L, just a single chime.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was the original horn they had on it, steam and water would get into the airline because it would be running off of one of the airlines from the, I forgot exactly how the combination worked, but it would clog the diaphragm and chew it up. So they, over the past couple of years, they've had about 2 or 3 horns, I think, on there. So they did get Broadway did get the horn rate because currently it's an A125, which sounds horrible, but it's just the horn they have on there. So, and when we were out there, they did blow the horn once, which is really neat because they hardly ever blow the horn. And it sounds like a hissing noise at first until all the steam in the air and the moisture comes out, and then it starts blowing. So it is right. They did get that part right.
I may have an unpopular opinion, but I do like the sounds on the Broadway model.
No, I like it. I think it's good.
I think the sounds are good.
Is yours super loud though? Like, is it like loud?
I've played with it to get it quieter on certain things, but I also set it up to put the I did the thing where I put the actual whistle they have on now, not the as delivered ones back in the 50s or the 40s or whatever it was. I fiddled with it to get it to the one they have now.
Okay. Yeah, because mine is loud. Like it shakes the walls. Not actually, it doesn't actually shake the walls, but it's loud.
The other thing too was that when I was programming stuff, when I was back at Atlas, I was on the warranty test track, and when you have something that loud, it will piss off everybody in the office. So I had to tone it down when I was focused. So, and then at home too, if I fire it up, it just pisses everybody off. So I have to keep it quiet.
I was running 3 of the F40s in head-end power mode at a small club in the basement, and it was deafening. And it was glorious. I had people actually tell me, can you not run that? Because it's very loud.
I knock all my stuff down at about 40.
Mm.
It just
Well, I've got my stuff turned up because normally I don't have a layout at home. So I rely on modular clubs. I've got 2 or 3 of them I run with. And the main event that I go to is massive. It's barn sized.
Yeah.
Or bigger. So, and when you've got your club and 3 or 4 other clubs in close proximity, you kind of have to be able to turn it up before you can hear it.
True, yeah.
Yes, I know it made you deaf that day. Guy in the comments is also part of that club. He's the one that invited me up.
So, go ahead, Drew. You want to ask something?
So Jeremy, could we ask what your pick is between 44, 49, and the East Coast equivalent 611? Yeah, well, we didn't get an answer.
It's not even funny. I am not knowledgeable in that area.
Oh.
Well, if you had to pick one.
Wow.
You know, a photo side by side, per se.
Real quick, why did you pick those 2 engines?
Well,
Yeah.
Because
if
we
you
were
go
talking
through
about
our-
them
through
earlier
our
in the group chat.
Those are probably the
Oh.
two that have been the most debated, with people getting fake offended over that.
Drew said he doesn't much
I'm
like
actually
4449, and I say I don't much like 611.
Oh wait,
Oh,
I
that
saw
was
that.
the
I
first
saw. I saw
stream,
what.
yeah.
I saw that. I saw that. Okay. Yeah, I saw what you called 611. Cam.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
insulted.
Tell me I'm wrong though. Tell me I'm wrong about it right now.
You're wrong.
Look at it. Look at a picture. Look at a picture of 611.
Stop. Just stop.
Don't
Just
tell
stop.
me.
Just don't. Not here.
Don't go there.
When I made
Don't
that
go
connection, dude, when I made that connection, it ruined the locomotive for me.
Oh, don't say that here.
Being told what he's talking about. So
I'm pretty sure you two can put it. You're right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
pretty
you
much
can put
figure
two
it out.
and two. So just imagine his kind of mind, and then put it in like a private group chat setting.
So, but wait, real quick. So, Jeremy, you're not going to pick between 611 and 4449?
If you want me to pick, I'll pick.
Wait, no. I
Dude.
have photos here. I can overlay them.
Show me some
Okay.
photos. I don't know what I'm talking about.
These
Wait,
are probably
hang on,
going to be the
time
worst
out, time out,
quality
time out.
photos on the internet.
You don't know which one's which?
No.
Oh,
Hey, we're respectful here.
We have a beautiful opportunity here to show him completely random northerns and just say that they're
everyone just
GS4s.
stop. Dude, okay.
You know what? Okay. Can you see my screen? Oh wow.
Wow.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
hey Jeremy,
so
we
I'm
gotta
gonna
do this
switch.
for
Here's
video.
4449. Okay. See this ugly piece of train?
Who do you think you are, Drew? I
But
bet you if
then you
Rapido
look
made a
over here,
4449
and
tomorrow, you'd be
six-
the first one to buy it.
Yeah, and you would be going on and on about how great it is too.
Look
How
how-
amazing the
look how
sound is, the
amazing.
detail.
It's a tough call, man.
Don't you patronize us, Jeremy.
know-
We know you don't care.
Oh, I'm serious. 4449 is glorious. Look at that thing.
Yeah,
I think
Drew.
I think 611 is much better than personally. I think 4449 is quite obsolete in comparison.
What?
Okay.
On what planet?
It's literally the same year.
I don't
Steam it.
know.
They're obsolete. They're both obsolete.
No, they're not. They'll never be
Oh my
obsolete.
God.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the GS4s.
I'm gonna give Jeremy such a hard time. He's never gonna want to talk to any of us ever again. I'm sorry.
I'll make a video about you, man.
That's fine. I'm down.
Even if it's slander, I'm down to be in a video from Jerry.
Cameron, you have a friend in the chat.
Something funny, but I'm not allowed to say here.
Yeah, we're
Sure,
probably.
Yeah, was it
Yeah.
me? Because
We're all on
so
the same
far
page.
I'm the only person I know who said it.
Daylight NW
Well-
Productions. He says how.
I think we've all thought that though. Like if
Personally, I never had the thought
guys
before.
One at a
you
time,
people
gentlemen.
Put it. Oh my God.
Go ahead. Someone go.
I
Not
did
it.
not think that joke until you guys shared it with me. And started
Yeah,
making
I'm on
that
the same page.
Listen, can you imagine?
Drew
though?
started it.
Drew
Oh my
started
I
it.
did not. I learned from
Children.
you.
Children. Can you imagine though, like Rapido Content doing a 4449? I'm not saying I would be mad at
Well,
that.
they'd much rather do a 611 first because it would sell much better.
Listen, Rapido Man Jr. Okay,
I don't know about that.
I don't think 611 is gonna.
There are a lot of Southern Pacific guys out there.
Let me put it to you this way:
lot.
how many daylight sets are there, and then how many NWJ class sets are there in HO?
You make quite
There's
a
one of
point.
each in N actually.
I'm just
Really
I'm just saying. SP has the more popular paint scheme, and I would argue
Yeah.
the more popular engine. But that
But
doesn't mean
just
but here-
because it's more popular doesn't mean it's better.
no, that's not why it's better. It's better just because it is. But the fact that it's more popular helps. I'm just
No,
saying.
okay. I
I'm
think
just-
we're losing. We're losing everybody. Okay, we need
And
to
I'm
kind
sitting
of
here
draw
at
it
the
back in.
reel it back in. Reel it back in.
Real, lock it in, boys.
Okay.
Okay.
I
So
lost everybody during that clinic of how our models are working right on the before, But
Oh, you know,
Listen, we'll blame it on Digitrax. It's fine. Don't worry. It's not your guys' fault.
Yeah,
So now that there's only 10 people
operator
here, it's
error.
probably just us watching our own stream. Are there accidental, not on purpose hidden sounds on the RDCs?
Oh my god, dude!
Drew complains about such.
Let me answer this. This is a good way to put it. So when you're recording stuff, a lot of times the issues you run into on ambient sound. See, I'm really skirting the subject here with an answer that nobody asked for.
Like a car driving by with the radio turned all the way up.
Yeah, you got it.
They're playing the Canadian national anthem.
Gentlemen, let him explain, please. Thank you.
So, for example, if it was raining out, you'd scrap that day and record it another day.
Uh-huh.
If the water hits the microphones, they would completely foul up any type of good recording. Or if it's thunderstorms, it would. You get that crackling in the background. If there's a national anthem playing in the background, you might save it and put it for something else. If you have leaves hitting the exhaust stack, it might throw off the way the exhaust sounds. If you got a tunnel, you probably don't want that because it's going to boom off the sides of the thing. If there's a monster truck show and there's a guy announcing it, you just might leave it in. You might take it out. Yeah. If there's coupling sounds, you might back into a car. It's going to sound a little bit different. But under a boat, it sounds a lot different from maybe somebody humming a song in the background. So it's just
acoustics are a big thing.
Yeah, and if the Manifest podcast just happens to walk by the recording, while a certain engine's being recorded,
new J3A Hudson.
Yeah, it's weird. You can never know what could happen. I'm just saying. So
it's not like we're planning to foil the recording session. Hack the Rapido email server.
Rapido's the best thing ever. Shut up, Drew.
If I'm going all the way out to the East Coast, I'm gonna be honest with you. Crashing a Rapido recording session is kind of low on my list.
Thing you do.
That's
the first thing is East Broad Top.
What else?
That'd be the first thing I do.
I don't even know where East Broad Top is. That's pretty dumb of me, but
you should.
Well, I should.
Or Basonia, Pennsylvania.
Oh, it's Pennsylvania. Well,
Drew, reel us back in.
Probably only
there you go.
2 hours.
This is my attempt at reeling back in, and it's not going.
Okay, so to reel us back in, I saw something interesting in the comments. Jeremy, someone mentioned that you used to drive buses, and they were asking what's it like
far back was that?
I think they're thinking of Josh.
Work on them? They're probably thinking of somebody else.
Oh, they're thinking of Josh Anderchek.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say
J names. I guess confused me again.
Oh, while we're talking about Rapido employees, did Janet ever forgive Lionel for calling her the Rapido secretary?
Wow. Wow. And you said you were trying to make this confrontational. Wow.
Forgiven but not forgotten.
He called out Broadway earlier.
Forgiven but not forgotten. That's a fair answer.
Yeah,
that's a fair answer.
So let me ask a question. So real quick, we obviously know that Rapido, since you were for Rapido's the best company ever. We understand. But what manufacturers do you folks enjoy outside of Rapido for your own models?
As an end scaler, I gotta say Atlas Microtrains. Atlas makes almost everything I need, right? In terms of rolling stock. Microtrains, obviously, because they're BN people. Well, Z people too. Sorry, Z people for you south of the border types. Yeah, that's basically the big ones. Intermountain for hoppers. That's probably the most of what I have in my collection right now.
I see.
Rapido rolling stock isn't really that much, but I have my share of some passenger cars and GMD ones. I have CN GMD ones. Yeah, it's for me. It's slim pickings, right?
Right.
So take what I can get.
Right.
How about you, Bobby?
It depends because for me, I usually stick to the things I usually stick to whatever I kind of need eventually for I'm building a freelance and trying to really cut down on what I have so I don't have an excess of a ton. So right now Bowser with all the MLW and the Alcos that they have, and for Steam, the big thing is with nobody doing GTW stuff in plastic, really, I guess it falls into Overland, Van Hobbies, and Oriental. So it's really hard to really, pinpoint one man. Like I like Atherin, I like Bowser stuff. So, but those, I guess Atlas with some of the C424s and the 25s, it really just falls on whatever I really just need. So there's not really one manufacturer. I mean, if I had to pick one or the other, I'll probably pick them for one or the other for detail or has ESU sound or something else or to that effect. Or I'll just add the sound aftermarket. So
kind of depends on what you're looking for, really. Like what kind of model you're trying to get. But I understand that. Shoot, I was going to ask something. I totally forgot what it was. God dang
James
it!
has nothing but Rapido in his layout. Everything's.
I have a question.
He has some Bowser though, so I mean, a few exceptions are made.
Right.
So
Not
Bobby,
many.
you've mentioned GTW a couple times. If you could have one class of locomotive right now, which one would it be?
Probably the U3 because U3B because Overland did a really good job in the U1Cs, and because of that, the U3. I mean, Oriental and Van did a good job in them, but they really could be updated. So probably the U3Bs because, especially since 6325 really, well, about 10, 15, 20 years ago now, but those two, that engine really brought it back, the popularity of it, and then because Jerry Jacobson passed away and everything kind of, sputtered around after that. You really don't see it anymore. So there's really no hype surrounding it.
The 6325 is a beautiful engine. I wish they'd bring it back.
My dad and I stumbled upon it because we were out visiting friends in Ohio and we were just driving around and we happened to hit the Morgan Run shops and we walked in unannounced, which you could do in those days. And there it was. It was 6325 was like half disassembled, and they were rebuilding it. This is back around '98, and it was just really neat because it was just sitting there. And ever since then, I was always a fan. I never got to see it run, but I was always a fan of it. But,
when is Rapido making one of those?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to pronounce that, and I can't. And I'm not making fun of it, but I still like emails. Sometimes. What do you think, Jeremy?
50th paint schemes. So what is Rapido's taking the Amtrak for the paint? Okay.
Well, they're cool. I think they're cool. In terms of the E8, the demand on that I don't know if we were expecting that kind of demand when we first announced them, because I think the problem was because that was released Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the dealers, they didn't see it till the following Monday, and they were scrambling, right? So I think that by far exceeded any possible expectation we had for it.
Yeah, we shot through that thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it took all of one day to shoot through the whole thing. And paint scheme wise, what do I think of it? Okay, so I'm going to be the sinner. I was never a fan of the 4316 scheme. So a lot of my friends were always jumping all over it, saying this is so neat.
It is ugly, but it is it's original. It's historic, right?
Yeah. Yeah. In model form, it's neat. It's definitely neat. But in Pro 1-to-1 form,
no, I like the utilitarian.
But, okay.
So
the man, what's that?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say the whole demand and everything for it. It's just amazing. It's just like Jeremy said. It's just absolutely awesome to see how popular that was. And, joking aside, it was really amazing that really came and went so fast. So
let me ask y'all this question. What is something that you think the hobby needs that we don't currently have? Like, it could be anything. Like, what's
Pull out
something
that
that you
video with the locomotive with 3 decoders.
like?
No,
like, what-
seriously.
Oh,
I,
no.
I can pull it up, but I want to ask them, like, so what's something that you would like to see that maybe is not being done? It could be a piece of technology, it could be a locomotive, anything. But what's something that you think the hobby needs to kind of take it forward? That's just not being produced right now. Start with Jeremy.
I'm a big fan of. You guys heard of Blue Rail?
Is that the Bluetooth
The
control?
battery.
Yeah. So
Oh, Bluetooth. I thought,
Dead rail control. It's battery.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but specifically Blue Rail was looking at direct control of the locomotive through your phone. There was no command station. It was strictly the decoder talking to your phone or whatever device you have. And I thought that was they're sort of backing off on that and going more with something that piggybacks off DCC. I guess because people aren't ready to give up DCC, but I think direct Bluetooth control is the way to go, and I think that's something that should be expanded on, especially for the larger scales, like S and O and up, right? Like even HO, I guess, because you can get dead rail goes along with that, it goes hand in hand with it, right? So you don't have to worry about all the dirty track and all the dead frogs and all that stuff, right? Like it's just you just go, I think it is coming. It's just taking a long time.
Right, because people are kind of set in their ways. What do you?
I would be too if I invested like thousands of dollars in them, right?
So what do you? So before we get Bobby's answer, I want to ask you this, Jeremy. What do you think of how Lionel's handled the Bluetooth control? I don't know if you've seen any of what they've done, but
I haven't seen their stuff. I know Bachman did it. They had the Easy app or whatever it was called. But Lionel's a different market, right? It's the toy train market, and it's perfectly fine. The hobby's a hobby, but it's
they're doing it in O scale, so they're scale models. They're brass. So Lionel does. I think they have conversion kits from 3-rail to 2-rail, but they have a lot of, outside of the fact that the trains run on 3 rails, they have a lot of scale, like scale models. But I know that all of their legacy, which is like their premium line of trains, all of their stuff is ran via Bluetooth, or it comes Bluetooth equipped. So people are, and like you said, Bachman experimented with it a while too. It seemed like Bachman kind of stepped away from that. They haven't really done a whole lot with it, I don't think, in recent years. But I do know that, like you said, few companies have been playing around with the idea. I think it's interesting.
It seems like an idea that should take off more. So I guess I didn't really answer your question because it's not exactly something new. It's just something that's under utilized, I guess.
That counts. So I'm acceptable.
Like what I was saying before, I'm also sort of dabbling in S scale. I don't know if you were here for that.
I did hear that. Yes.
That's what makes me think about this. Is I want to go, if I do expand on my S scale journey, I want to go dead rail, and I don't want it tied to a DCC system. I just want to be able to control the train and have all the sound and everything, like just independent of any sort of track system, right?
Yeah, maybe Scaletrains will take the bull by the horn and play around with that. I think S scale would be a good testing ground. I think if S scale was kind of if that was a scale that was kind of the pioneer of dead rail and Bluetooth control, direct train control from phone or whatever device to engine, I think that would incentivize more people to actually get into S. So I think that'd be neat. That's a good market to test that in.
It's a big news when they acquired the MTH tooling. Like that's for S scale. That's pretty significant. And so hopefully the same before. It's hopefully it drives up the awareness of it, right?
Yeah, and it's going to give Lionel some competition too.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So I shall be watching with great interest.
As will I.
How that unfolds.
We will watch your career with great interest.
Yes, young Skywalker.
What about you, Bobby?
Well, actually, could you ask the question again? I just want to get a better.
No, dude, you have to remember. Gosh, okay, no,
No repeating.
no cheating, no. So, what is something that's currently not being done in the hobby that you would like to see be done?
Well,
GTW stuff.
well, yeah. There's a lot. I mean, technicality-wise, there's a lot because you're mentioning about Bluetooth, and I personally, I think it's neat. I think it's good for a lot of people. I don't like it because I do like having the dial on the controller.
Yeah,
Because
just
that's like the last for me, like the last thing I want to give up. Because even though it really doesn't give you a feel of how fast you're going, or like if you're doing an op session, it doesn't really give you a feel, but it gives you more of a feel. Of, you can kind of, especially if you've been on a locomotive before, it can kind of give you. I mean, it's a really cheap way of looking at it, but it can kind of give you a feel of how fast you're going, like if you're backing up against the train or doing switching and stuff like that. But in terms of something that never done before, I guess that would be it. Probably more so like decoder stuff. Maybe with Steam, I mean, I think there's still good ways to go with Steam and decoders because I think there's just so much you can do with stuff right now. I think you're maxing out what you can do with diesels. I do think like AC traction motors are a bit digital KD couplers. I don't mind them not being digital, but at times. But I do think with decoders like diesels, you can really max out what you can do. Sans, maybe like traction motors, because I think that's something else that really could be done a bit better. But with Steam, there's just so much you can do, and I think like the one thing is, and it's kind of like a real crazy way of looking at stuff, but when you're MUing 2 or 3 diesels together, and you want to take one offline, or if you have like you're going to, I don't know, a yard track or somewhere in the somewhere anywhere, and you have like a set of like 2 or 3 locomotives sitting there, you have to dial in the consist to move them. There's no possible way with the good gears and the way the model works, the way the hobby works, to get them to move on their own. So like if you're going to like a yard track and you want to move them to another track to get to something else, you got to cut the consist in, cut those engines in, cut your consist out, combine them. It takes you like 4 or 5 minutes, to do something that should take, like in real life, you come in, set it up, drop down the brake, the parking brake, air it up. If you've been sitting there a little while, it might take a little bit longer, but stuff like that, done in 2 or 3 minutes. It takes you, and I know the new TCS controller has a feature where you can literally just jump consist to consist.
Wow.
ESUs, I haven't really done anything with the ESUs program. I know NCE, you can do the recall, but then if you want to do like a new consist, you got to, take it out, type the new consist in, do the directions on the locomotive. It's all that stuff, and there's a high, chance of error on stuff. If you don't dial out the consist, then the consist will be stuck in the decoder, stuff like that. I just think that there's more ways you can go with things that you can do and can't do. Like a lot more ease. Like it's just too bad you can't just somehow, some way, MU something quickly by pressing like 2 buttons. Be done. Press 2 more buttons. You're done. It's just it's hard to explain this without getting super technical. But
I kind of see what you're saying. Go ahead, Ensey. Okay. Never mind.
I understand what you're going with that. I had oh yay, delay netcode. I had 2 of my Coors Light F40s out on display, and I went to put them away, but I couldn't reach them, and it just was not worth the effort to boot them up and turn them into the consist. So I just used more power to drag them back where I could reach them, and it would be a lot easier if I could just add engines onto the consist.
That's the thing. It's just like TCS has a really neat feature on one of their new, because I use at the club that I usually go to, and the way I do it, it's not prototypical for the 60s. I go to the club out in Bethlehem, and when we do the op session, I'm allowed to do it newer with push-pull style, so I'll have a diesel on both ends of the train just because it's quicker. But to do that, you have to have the consist tied in. So if you want to reverse switch into a siding and then the train moves on and then take the air engine and switch into an air-facing siding, you got to take the consist down. There's a button where you can consist one by himself and all together, and you just flip back and forth. And it's not like the recall; it's a lot easier, but it's just very difficult to do.
Yeah, see, I get what you mean. I mean, Steam is obviously different, but when I have like things and I usually do long trains because like trains that these engines can't pull because I'm insane. So I'll like have 50 cars behind something and it like can't get up like just a small grade. So what I do is I just take an engine and just ram it into the back of the train and just push it along because it's just like I'm not setting up a consist. It just takes too long.
Yeah.
So I just
one system that I think that does it really well, and I could be wrong, but from memory, if anyone's familiar with RailPro was trying to compete with DCC for a while, where they have their own custom decoders, but it was all kind of done through a Bluetooth type of system. And they had two neat features. One was that when you put the engine on the track, it would automatically read the engine, so it would know what train was there, right? So to consist, all you would do is just select whatever engines were available. And so if you've got them on the track, you just hit a button, bam, they're in the consist. But the other cool thing that system could do is the decoders were smart enough to be able to read what each motor was doing. So it was like a prototypical MU. So they would feel when one engine was pulling harder than the other engine would compensate. And so you wouldn't have to do any speed matching. I think that I wish DCC had more features like that to make it easier for modelers to just kind of, like we're saying, consist, MU, get the trains to work together. But I think that was interesting what you were touching on, Bob. I do agree that consisting can be very difficult. I want to ask you this because you touched on Steam, which of course is my favorite subject. But what do you? I know, right? What do you feel that could be improved with Steam decoders currently as they are in the market?
I definitely think, and it's not a knock on anyone. It's not a knock on any brand. It's just I think it's so difficult to get the chuff sound, and I think some of them have gotten really close. But I mean, as much as I do, when you're out there listening to it, it's just a whole different feel from model to digital sound. I mean, it's obviously something that you probably can never fully create unless you actually have a real, live boiler for burning oil, oil or coal.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that the whole feel is just different. I mean, forget about the smell, forget about the sense and everything. And even the sound, like, it just does not sound. It's really damn close to some of them. It's really close, but it's just not. Like, I'll go out and I'll see Strasbourg 90, and then you put the sounds onto even like Train Sim or something like that. It just does not have that same.
Oh no, Cam.
V scale. What?
Cam, calm down. It's gonna be okay.
I think you walked away.
Has he seen the K&L ones though?
Calm down.
Has he seen the K&L ones?
Let me put my disclaimer in. I don't really play that not much. I had it because the transit stuff came out, and obviously living within earshot of it, I had to have it.
Oh, so you're probably using the freeware Ben Neal ones then?
The random stuff like that. Yeah, I don't. But the thing is I really don't play that much. But I'm just in general. I'm just comparing like that to like model and everything. It's just you can get close. It's just somehow for some reason it just doesn't have that feel.
Are there just not enough sounds? Is it because to me it seems like some of the Steam decoders they're not busy enough. Like Steam engines make so many different sounds.
It's the limit on the functions too, because I mean this is discounting obviously the expansion we made, but in general it's not so much that. It's not so much indicative of the sound company. It's just the functionality, like the limits you can go, because you can only have a certain number of sounds going all at once, and you never can get past that. And like you said, they're just like rod clank will happen every now and then it'll get quiet up, and then it'll go away, and then it'll come back. And it's just so many things that you just can't recreate, and that's the difference between like a diesel, even a diesel though too. Like Like even the horns, I just think on some of the sound decoders, the horns just don't capture the bass that they should.
Oh,
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah, I've got
what you
that
were
as
saying
well.
about
Go ahead.
what you were saying about chuffs, I feel like there's two parts to it. Like there's the actual sound of the chuff, and then there's like when you're going 2 miles an hour versus when you're going 60 miles an hour, it shouldn't be that same sound playing over and over again because it doesn't sound the same. But I don't say this because of who's here, but the Rapido Royal Hudson, like it sounds fine when it's like running regularly, but I'll run it on like there's like a heavy mode or whatever. I run it on that, and that's probably the best sounding chuff noise I've heard. Like it's has like bass to it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think what people or what I guess manufacturers, that's a proper term.
We're people.
Well, yes, you are people, but like I think
Hope so.
what the problem is that like the chuffs, they sound too soft. They're smooth, and I think like when I listen to like the like actual recordings of 611, the chuffs are pops. Like it's pot, and when I listen to the thing, it's just shh, shh. It's just like, no, that's not right. It's like it should be pops, and I think that's what it's missing is the staccato way of.
I think this
musical
is coming
terms.
It's coming out of the limitation of small speaker and a small enclosure.
Mm-hmm.
You're dealing with the bit rate on these sound files of what, maybe 128 kilobits per second.
Mm-hmm.
They're MP3s more or less. It's hard for that to translate sound-wise into something that's like until you get into O scale. Like O scale sounds pretty incredible if you ever heard it up close. And it's got the resonance. It's got the cavity inside the locomotive that it just booms, right? It's HO is tricky and is impossible. Like and sounds good now, but it's okay.
It's taken a
come a
long time.
way.
It's come a long way, but it's not. It doesn't turn your head, right?
Yeah, the QSI Titans, the new like things that are loading sounds on, like Performance Locos, some of his trains that he's done. That's like really close to capturing the sound.
I've heard of people putting sound decoders in Z scale, and I just can't imagine how you could possibly have a good sound in that.
It'd be all treble. There'd be no bass whatsoever. It's impossible. Like it's
like I have Z, I have shorties, so they're extra small, but I can't fathom how you could put sound into a Z scale model and have it sound good. I'm sure somebody's done it, but I'd have
dedicated
to see it
sound
before
card.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I don't know how you'd fit a motor in a Z scale model. Like
I can take apart one of my shorties and show you.
I don't even know how you'd make one.
Very
I have
careful.
the Hudson here, and like this is the best sounding Steam I've heard before. So I just
Do you even own any other Steam?
Yes, I have a Broadway Limited Big Boy, a Broadway Limited K4, and then everything else is diesels. So
it's literally the first time I'm hearing about them.
So I guess, well, I mean, you're not really setting the bar very high. I mean,
that's quite true. But
okay, here we go.
But I'm gonna leave it at that. But the Royal Hudson is amazing.
That actually does sound really good. Oh my god,
that does sound very good.
What in the world, you guys? What are you doing over there, man? Like your sound files are so good.
Slightly tinny.
Cam it up.
Are you using like
it was
magic or something?
plastic.
Like, what are you doing? It's incredible though. Like it is.
That I have to admit that does for the chuffs. That sounds really nice.
It sounds good.
And it sounds good coming through my crappy laptop speakers. Like it's
yeah.
right? Like you can tell, like even though that's like a really bad
speakers,
like the sound is distorted, you can still tell like the quality is really good on that engine.
It is amazing what they can do, but it's there's limitations, right?
Absolutely.
Some iPhone speakers can only give you so much. What do you call it? Dynamic sound range, right? Like it's
only
hard.
so much.
I have heard a couple of HO models that sound close to O scale models, but people just messing with speaker enclosures. I think that there's Drew. Oh god,
Am I back? Can you hear me? Oh,
You're good?
Internet, the Ethernet cord got ripped out of my computer pretty much the moment I stopped talking.
10 out of 10. A+.
But anyway, well, I've asked all my questions that I have.
Make CP2816.
Oh my god!
It's not even a suggestion; it's just an order.
Make it now.
So,
Drew,
remember that one is on the It's no that one's no secret. That one's on the.
I would be disappointed if it wasn't on the agenda. If you guys would make one half of the Hudsons and not the other half.
Wait, 2860. I don't.
Wait, so there's more Hudsons?
It's the Empress. It's the sister to the Royal Hudson that doesn't have the streamlining.
Just go.
I like it better.
Oh, this one. Okay.
You'll see
It's
everything.
basically the locomotive of Canada.
Oh my god, take my money, dude.
It's R844. It's the one that's just been everywhere.
When you folks make that, just take my wallet. That's fine.
Again,
I don't need
and just type in icons of Steam, and that's everything that we're supposed to do at some point.
That is
on the it's on the website.
And the J3A Hudson, and make sure you
guys are really on them about this J3A, man.
Dude, there isn't a good Hudson right now in HO.
Okay, I'm gonna go against the grain, and I'm gonna praise something they've already made or are currently making. That D10,
it's coming.
I never thought I was gonna see one of those in any form of plastic model in any scale until I saw the announcement.
And I don't know how many people were watching, but if you get the orders up for the CM one, eventually that will happen too.
Yeah, I saw that on train. I was blown away. Like, not only is it a D10, but you guys went and just did the CN one too.
The guy got orders up though.
Drew, you're muted. Yeah, sorry, Drew, you're muted.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we gotta start catching him on that because I keep noticing he's muted, and I'm
when
like,
we do this in Discord, like half the time I'm muted. Oh my god. Well, you know.
So since Clint seems to be out of questions, I saw something interesting in the comment thread. What do you guys do with pre-production samples and test models? Do they just go on a shelf into the collection?
We got a little museum happening, more or less. It's kind of tucked away into a filing cabinet at this point, but the plans are to build a giant sort of display case. Just here is the legacy of Rapido, all on display.
That would be a cool thing to take to shows, just to put on display for the sake of having it.
Yeah,
including the couplers.
Including the couplers.
The Rapido did not.
You probably know what I'm talking about, Jeremy.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
The Rapido N scale couplers are not this Rapido. They're another Rapido.
Right. Yeah.
Cameron has put that in the group chat like 5 times. Why do you guys like Rapido so much when they made this monstrosity?
Oh yeah, the
thing is everyone in N scales had to deal with Rapido couplers at some point.
Yeah. Hey, they worked, man. They were.
Oh yeah, I still have some because you know what? They couple. They don't have problems. You don't need to do anything.
The heights aren't different on your rolling stock, and you'll be just
that screws with knuckle couplers too.
Yeah,
I've got a couple
up to an extent
intermountain engines that are just completely. They won't even couple to anything because they're just the couplers are way too high.
My triplex is like that. Coupler sits too low.
That's why I didn't buy a triplex.
You should try.
Right. Well, just because you couldn't afford it.
Wow.
You know,
at me.
Wow.
You want to throw hands?
Yeah, bro. Don't diss
calling me out.
Don't diss the triplex, bro.
I mean, the first knuckle couplers in N started coming around like 30, 35 years ago now, and they were maybe
early 90s.
No. Well, that is about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
God damn.
that's what I mean. Like 91 to 95 around there.
91 was 30 years ago.
I remember when horn hooks were the standard in HO. That was dark times.
I still
wow.
Over half of the old like boxcars I have still have horn hooks, and I just
Lifelike,
Tycho,
Bachman. Oh my god, good times.
Unlike the Rapido couplers, those ones don't work.
That's true.
Yeah, they don't work.
They're just bad in every way.
The horn hook couplers?
If you go around corners,
I
they
really
tip
like
over.
them.
Yeah, they're
And your
not great
turns are
for.
too tight.
You guys familiar with Eric Gagnon? I can't even say his name.
No, I am not.
He runs Trackside Treasures, the blog.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
He's got a Rapido RS18, and he put horn hooks on it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
No.
You serious?
Yeah.
The only guy who's ever done that.
That sounds like the sort of chaotic thing that I would do.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Speaking of RS,
just buy a brass
RS
engine and then
things.
just like, what if I made this HP powered?
did those RS11 samples actually come like mismatched?
That was a little fun by the warranty team.
Okay, I was like, if the factory sent that, it's like, well, I guess it's every single variation. I mean, it covers everything.
It's efficient.
Yeah, gets everything done.
You know, Jeremy, one of my friends actually legit asked me if he think I'd buy it, and I was like, no.
Well, these are those Volkswagen bugs like that, right? Back in the 90s.
Not the Bug, the Polo, the Volkswagen Polo. You can get
Polo.
like that.
Okay.
I believe it was the Harlequin trim. I think it was called something like that.
Sure. It was pretty.
I don't think we ever got it stateside.
No.
I think it was a Europe only thing, as far as I'm aware.
We didn't get a lot of cars. Unfortunate.
Yeah. I thought I saw one here. In Canada, anyways. Maybe
That's because here in North America, we have more important things like V8s.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? We don't get the R34. You know, it's okay.
It's because it's not a V8.
You're right.
Okay,
But-
so not to change the subject on you guys, but out of curiosity.
Trains.
Well, no.
Anyways.
Well, no, I'm more curious because I'm sure it's going to get brought up again. Why the J3A?
Because it's pretty cool. Like, everybody who likes the 611 but hates the 4449 and vice versa can agree that that's pretty cool.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, give the man a straight. Anything outside of it is pretty cool.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things because to my ignorant knowledge, the J3A and like the J1E and like all the Hudsons like that are that kind of thing, basically kind of look the same. Yeah, like the New York Central, basically all of them except for the Dreyfus and the Commodore and the 20th
Take
Century.
it back right now.
All they kind of one of them looks like a Mohawk, and then one of them's the thick one called the Super Hudson, and then
okay, I gotta go.
the rest of them are like, you know, so it's just like the J3A is just like
It's
the
iconic.
first one, right?
Like,
it is.
you know,
It is the most iconic.
like the
the-
Dreyfus is like annoying iconic. Like, you know, throw it in a dumpster. But J3A, it's like the less annoying cousin of the Dreyfus.
So
It's not even a cousin. It's just a Dreyfus without streamline.
Let me can I say something real quick about the J3A and why the J3A?
Oh Lord.
No. So here's the thing. I think so. Like they were saying, the J3A is iconic. If you look at like any cartoons or any drawings that like or advertisements that people will do, that design outside of the
World logo,
outside of the Dreyfus Hudson, the J3A is aesthetically one of the best looking locomotives ever. Just for the purposes of animation or anything like that. So it's a design that's like it just looks when people think steam engine, a lot of people think that, right? Just the general public. from the standpoint of model railroading, the reason why that engine is such a big deal is because one, it has a long history with Lionel. That was Lionel's flagship engine for years, and that was their first.
That is the Lionel.
Yeah, that was their first scale model. And so when now let's fast forward to when HO's gaining popularity, HO's coming around, people are wanting some of those Lionel trains that they grew up with, but now they're wanting them in HO scale. Out of all like the really popular locomotives that you'll see, your 611s, your 4449s, you know, the different types of Mikados, all the USRA designs, all of that stuff, right?
Big boy.
The J3A is up there in terms of popularity, but it's been done so few times. The only two companies that I know that have really like actually done it outside of brass is Broadway Limited, and I think Bachman did one. I'm not sure if they did it.
They released an N scale one a couple
River
months
Aussie
ago.
did one, but that
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
count.
Okay.
Yeah,
So to sum up from a business
River Aussie's
standpoint,
not bad.
it's businessly makes sense. That was an awful way of wording.
Business
Because the old people that grew up with like a Lionel Hudson,
What'd you call me? What did you just say to me, Drew?
the grown people who now have the money to buy a Rapido steam engine grew up with the Lionel Hudson, who now want one in HO scale quality, and it hasn't really been made much at all. So
here's the
it's like a perfect candidate for Rapido-ition.
Here, God damn it.
Can I just say something real quick? Like, I am
Making up
so
words.
glad that we finally beat you to something. I'm so glad to finally have something in N that you guys don't have.
What are you talking
Oh,
about?
that's
look at my
the Bachman Hudson.
We
Well,
do
it's
have
from
We
Bachman,
do
so
have
that's
Hudson,
quite
you don't.
unexpected.
Time out. We do have it, and we got it before
Yeah, but
you.
they're not making them right now, are they?
It doesn't
No.
matter. We've had one
You
for
can
years.
find it.
The Broadway,
yeah.
the Broadway
Well, you
one
can't
was
find
right
it. You're
now
not
in
helping the
2020.
case to get Rapido to make one.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Because it's out of listen.
Broadway. You can't find them at all. They're $700 on
much
eBay.
competition.
Are they really? I could sell mine for anyway. Look, so here's the thing, and this is the intrigue behind Rapido doing it with what you did for the Royal Hudson. I think it would be very intriguing.
Well, and it's already tooled in part. So I mean, you know,
I think it would be very intriguing if Rapido did a J3A because
I also
because just the amount of detail and the amount of detail that you folks pay. Like I put you folks in Scaletrains in like the same category. Like you take risks. There's similarities between your companies. Like you seem to take risks and try to push the envelope with what can be done. And I think that for neither one of you have really dipped your toe that much into steam. Like you've got the one model which you did a great job, but I think everyone's just really curious to see. Okay, they've done one steam engine, it came out really well. Let's get another one from you, because it's and because you've already done a Hudson, this would be kind of the next maybe a logical step down the road to see what they'll do with the New York Central. And
yeah, it'd be a great way to get into American steam. It'd be a great way to do that.
And I feel like because realistically with Rapido, like the steam engine projects you guys do take a long time. So everybody requesting all these different variations, it's really not feasible. But I feel like if you pump
very tricky.
Well, yeah, but I feel like if you pump out all these variations of the Hudson, like the unstreamlined Canadian version and the J3A, I don't really think anybody's going to care that they're all Hudsons. I mean,
just for the record, like just because it's a 464 doesn't mean it's the same kind of Hudson.
Well, it's not the same.
I just looked it up. I just looked it up. The J3A's wheels are 4 inches larger than the CP Hudson. So it would be impossible to use that chassis without completely reworking it.
It would be
at least to Rapido's standards.
I'd be content.
No,
4 inches.
I don't think Rapido would be content.
Like my little fingernail.
You're never content.
You want it done
a lot bigger than you think.
Okay, look, before we God,
That was not meant to be a dirty joke.
The point is
I'm trying to keep it clean.
the way the drivetrain looks in a model is very important to how the model looks. Like if you look at like some brass engines, some older ones, the model looks awesome, but then you look at like the drive gear and it just doesn't look quite right. It just looks like an old like 90s Tyco or something like that. It just doesn't look right. So I think that's not to say that would happen, but on a much less severe scale, if the drivetrain doesn't look quite right, the whole model is not gonna flow like it should.
Here's the thing: if Rapido ever does one day decide to do it, I think we all can say with confidence that it'll be done right, because you take so much time to do the models, and waiting a while for something is quality, not quantity. The fact that you have to wait longer for something, but for it to be done right and have the features that it has, it's worth it.
Look how long the D10's been in production, right?
Yeah.
That's been a experience.
Right. Well, and I feel like another thing about Rapido Steam, and I'm sorry if we keep piling on about this, but the fact it's meant like it's a nice thing, and a lot of times you see things, products, models that are released, and they're just always in stock, and that just reflects that they weren't good. But I feel like Rapido made enough stock of the Royal Hudson, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but it's still in stock on Train World, and it's not about it not being good, because there's so much you can just look up and you see how amazing it is. But that lets people still have the chance to get one, instead of just being like, oh, this was great, but you can't have it anymore because it was so nice and everybody wanted it. So
yeah, it's that was a model that we knew. It was developed before I was on board, so I'm sort of speculating after the fact. But there was demand for it, so they pumped out more than they knew they'd eventually sell, right? So they pumped out more than what the initial order was, right? So but a lot of stuff, it's made to order, and there might be a few extras made, and then they're gone. Like
well, I'm glad they made more, because I'm still trying to get one. So
I'm still debating.
They're out there, just not. We don't have any in stock, but they're out there.
Go to Train World and use the free shipping code. Trust me, it'll.
If I had the money for one, I would do that right now. But since I don't.
Do I need to buy Rapido Hudson on stream to show my love for Rapido? Is that
yes? Yeah, you need to pledge your allegiance to Rapido.
Okay, Drew, calm down. Okay.
Okay. Well, I think we're losing people by focusing too much on Rapido. We should rant about something else.
That's what the podcast was about.
Who wants to talk crap about Broadway?
Who wants to talk about Broadway Limited? I think it's time that we open up the conversation. Remaining politically correct. Broadway Limited is... No, I really like... For all that we pick on Broadway Limited in this show, like, they really do make great stuff. And they're like the only person out there right now who's fully devoted to putting out stuff in Steam. So...
How do you guys, Bobby, Jeremy? How do you guys feel about Paragon 4? Did you know that was coming out from Broadway?
No.
Okay. Did you
know about it until 10 seconds ago?
No.
So Broadway Limited is coming out with Paragon 4.
Yeah.
Bobby, are you trying to look it up right now just to make yourself look educated?
I look dumb. I don't care.
I just don't. As of right now, there's nothing I really need to buy. That's the thing.
Yeah, me too.
Wow. I mean, need and want. It's kind of
the one day that they make an E7 Atlantic, I'm going to be all over it. But for now, there's nothing I really need.
I mean, they have the early Challenger, but now it's a brass.
Yeah, so it was going to come out in plastic, but now it's in brass.
I thought it was going to be die cast, and then
I don't really get it. Maybe they just used the same tooling and just put brass instead of metal in it.
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Do that, but
Well, it's a brass hybrid, right?
When you assembly for something like that is different because of the molds are going. I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but the molds are going to be set up differently though.
Oh,
Because see, with brass, there's a lot. Typically, there's a lot more separately applied details than you do with the die cast.
Right.
yeah.
Mold. But this is what I will say about Paragon 4, and this is what I'm noticing. I think what Broadway Limited did was I think normally companies they'll have a game plan, right? All companies have a game plan in terms of products that they're gonna have come out. But I think Broadway 2 years ago knew when they were gonna release Paragon 4, or they had at least an idea, right? It had to have been in development. I guarantee it was in development at least 2 years ago. But I think what they were doing is they were looking at the catalog that they came out with and all the locomotives that they promised. They said, you know what? Some of these engines that we were gonna make and we were gonna release in Paragon 3, let's hold back and wait till Paragon 4 comes out, and then that way they'll have the new sound files in them. Because I find it interesting that the Santa Fe Mikados, the or early Challengers, these even the Dreyfuss Hudson and the Commodore Vanderbilt, in one of their videos they said that was supposed to come out in December. So
wow.
I think what's
We
going
haven't
on,
even seen a promo video.
Is that
No.
brass hybrid or is that plastic?
it's supposed to be
die
plastic,
head.
but I wouldn't be surprised
It
if they
will be
pushed-
brass.
I wouldn't be surprised if they switch it over to a brass hybrid. But the point is, I think that they decided that they were going to wait, and that's why a lot of those models that we've been waiting for like 6 or 7 years on haven't come out, because they were waiting for Paragon 4 to be finished so they could just put the new sound files in those, rather than do what they did with Paragon 3 and have a bunch of new trains come out, and then like 3 months later just do. Well, sorry. They had a bunch of new trains come out in Paragon 2, and then when Paragon 3 was released like a month later, they had to do a whole new run of those same engines with Paragon 3 like 3 months after the initial run. So they don't think they wanted to go through all that again. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Even though they came out with the Y6B in Paragon 3 the same week they announced Paragon 4.
That Y6B is one of their flagship models. Like they've
has been
ran
the
that
same.
in every single stage of Broadway Limited. That engine's been present. That mold is old, really old. So
But it still looks good.
oh god, yeah,
Still
it's
looks
amazing.
Why fix what ain't broke?
That's
Yeah.
true.
Anyway,
But yeah,
Cool.
now they're going to come out with a Paragon 4 one, so I guess I'm glad I didn't get the Paragon 3. I mean,
Is that
it'll
the last
probably be
thing
the
to
same.
come out in Paragon 3, or is that the consolidation that kind of silently came out?
I think it was the Y6B and the
Okay.
Class A. I think it was those two that came out last in Paragon 3.
Cool. Well, out of respect for everybody's time, are we good, or are we
Drew, you're-
pushing it?
What time is it? I'm in the basement.
Oh,
sunlight.
It is 9:16 for me, so
it
I think
is
it might-
10.
I mean, we don't have to go for a 6-hour podcast today. We can be respectful of these gentlemen's time.
It's the same time now for me and Clint as it was for Drew when he started. To put it into
Wow.
perspective.
Oh, well,
Bro, I went and moved some of my homie stuff into our new place. Listened to y'all. Went and grabbed his car keys.
Yeah, I saw you lurking in the chat.
and then still had time to get on stream. This has been going on so long, but it's all good.
So-
we're about pushing 3 hours now.
so is your roommate gonna like be in the background now? Are we not gonna be able to do a bedroom tour of your bedroom while you're away?
So here's the crazy part: there will be no trains in the new place. There will be none.
Are you selling
The
them?
The trains, no, but the
Oh.
trains.
Where's the case going?
The trains are going to stay here in this house, but because I'm moving into this isn't when I eventually buy my house, my own house, I will move all the trains and everything in there. But for now, the trains are going to stay here. This is still technically my house. I'm inheriting this house, but it's time for me to, as a grown man, it's time for me to move on and branch out a little bit. So I'm going to get my own space away from my parents and grow a little bit. And eventually, when y'all get there, you'll understand.
You'll realize too.
True, you enjoy your time at home, Samuel.
Yeah, live this up, my man.
Hey, I'm gonna be gone in like 3 months, so
Yeah, I'm living on borrowed time right now.
I'm a sophomore in high school, so I have some time.
You got a lot
Save
of
up,
time.
save
Not
up
as
some
much
money,
time
bro.
as you think. Just keep that in mind. It goes quick.
It really does, bro. From
Okay.
16 to 26, bro, where you're at right now to where I'm at is not that's a short window. So I remember when I was 16, not that long ago.
I was 16 in 1990. So
Oh my god.
Wait, hold on.
I wasn't gonna even be born for another 5 years.
So that means you were 2005, right?
Wait,
I'm
what?
2005.
I'm 2003.
What? No.
Yeah, I graduated high school in 2005. So
2005 was like I still have socks that are from
Wait.
2005.
We finally have, oh my god, people on the stream that are older than me. Wow, this feels great. God.
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about? Last stream, dude.
Oh yeah, last stream we had
Oh,
some.
yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. But I just it took me 2 streams to realize it, I guess. But anyway,
We had John, James, and Mark.
Yeah, you think John from TSG is younger than you?
well, I mean,
Never know.
Hey, stranger things have happened.
trains do keep you young. I hear it is the new fountain of youth.
He does have a pretty young energy. I'll give him that.
Anyway, we're rambling. Drusif, play the
Okay.
outro theme song.
Play the outro. Okay. Cool. Thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate it. We'll see you next week in some way, shape, or form. And I will start with my microphone not going through my laptop. See ya.
No problem.
Bye.